Chapter 32-34. Brother Night Devil. How have you been? I'm ashamed to say that the two of us lost to Gusubi first. Because of the bet, we had to avoid where he appeared. That's why we appeared. I hope you don't mind. Dancing Lady, who flew over first, explained and then congratulated. Brother Night Devil, your divine power is unparalleled. You're already worthy of being the #1 person in this batch. Dancing Lady is deeply impressed. You're too polite. I was also lucky to defeat him. In terms of strength, we're about the same. Night Sorrow said humbly. In fact, if he fought with these people in front of him, the final winner would indeed be him. You're too humble. Your strength is indeed above us. At this moment, Su Lei also spoke. She was gradually convinced by Night Sorrow's combat strength. In the battle with Gusu, although she had tried her best, she had still lost. However, Night Sorrow, who had defeated Gusu, obviously still had strength left. This proved that the gap between Night Sorrow and her and Dancing Lady was getting bigger and bigger. When Night Sorrow advanced to the Heavenly Supreme level, the gap would be unimaginable. This was the gap in potential. No matter how hard they worked, they could not make up for it. Seeing that the two women were a little shocked, Night Sorrow comforted them. We're all on the path of cultivation. If we don't reach the end, we don't have the qualifications to transcend. In the future, maybe one of us can advance to the supreme level. When that time comes, we'll talk about heroes over a cup of wine. What you said makes sense. Everyone has a chance. Hearing this, Dancing Lady immediately felt a little better. Geniuses who could enter the Lu Tian Academy were all proud and arrogant. Although she was not sure if she had the qualifications to advance to the supreme level, she was prepared to work hard. Sigh. What should I do? At this moment, Su Lei was a little nervous. She felt that if Night Sorrow could be successfully recruited by the organization she was in, it should be a great help. However, for a genius like Night Sorrow who had great ambitions and wanted to advance to the supreme level, it was not easy to control. Therefore, it was extremely difficult for the organization she was in to recruit Night Sorrow. This made her a little worried. A few days ago, that organization sent another 2 elders. These 2 people gave her a lot of pressure. She had lost the bet to Night Sorrow, so she wasn't sure if she should listen to the organization or Night Sorrow. His mind was in a mess. Su Lei, what happened to you? At this moment, Night Sorrow felt that Su Lei's emotions were a little unstable, so he immediately asked. It's nothing. I just suffered a bit of a blow. Su Lei smiled awkwardly. She was a little embarrassed to be seen through. At this time, Dancing Woman said, Night Demon. Actually, the reason why Su Lei and I rushed over this time, other than watching the battle between you and Gusu, is also to ask you to do something. You want me to do something for you? What's the matter? Night Sorrow asked curiously. It's like this. Recently, Su Lei and I heard some news. The Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill had appeared in an ancient site in the Killer Heaven battlefield. This Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill can not only help an earthly sovereign to advance to a heavenly sovereign, but it can also help a heavenly sovereign advance by a small realm. If Su Lei and I get it, we can advance to a middle heavenly sovereign. If you get it, you can advance to a heavenly sovereign. Are you interested in this matter? After Dancing Woman finished speaking, she looked at Night Sorrow with an expectant gaze. She knew that it was impossible for her and Su Lei to get the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. If Night Sorrow were to help, the success rate would be greatly increased. Of course I'm interested in a pill that can advance to a heavenly sovereign. Tell me more about it. After Night Sorrow heard Dancing Woman's words, he immediately became very interested. To him, what he needed most was to advance to a higher realm. Naturally, he would not miss out on a miracle pill like the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. It's like this. A few days ago, in the Killer Heaven battlefield, someone coincidentally stumbled into an ancient site. Not long after that, he advanced from a middle heavenly sovereign to an upper heavenly sovereign. Dancing Woman smiled and said, after that, he entered the ancient site again and found another Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. However, he realized that the second pill had no effect at all. Hence, he auctioned off the 2 Sovereign Heaven Origin Pills that he found in the 3rd entry at the Academy's auction house and obtained a large amount of resources. This matter was then exposed. As the saying goes, there's no such thing as an airtight wall in the world. Come to think of it, That cultivator was too eager for quick success and instant benefits. Night Sorrow agreed and asked, "If that's the case, have the two of you found the entrance to the ancient site?" "Of course. But now, there are many students who know about the ancient site. Many of them are from previous batches and are very powerful. If we go, it's still very risky." Dancing Woman continued. She and Su Lei knew that even with Night Sorrow's participation, the risk was still very high. After all, they were all new students in Lu Tian Academy and did not have an advantage in terms of strength. At this time Su Lei said, "Although this matter is very dangerous, we can't refuse the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. We can't refuse it, but others can't refuse it either. Hence, the competition inside will be very intense. If we go, we must be prepared." "Wait a moment. I'll ask Elder Su about this." Night Sorrow agreed with Su Lei. He could not refuse the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. But he also understood the danger of this trip. At this point, Yi Shang contacted Elder Su via voice transmission. "Night Demon, is there anything you need this elder to help you with?" Elder Su, who received the telepathy, quickly replied. "Elder Su, it's like this. My friend and I recently heard about the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. Do you have a certain understanding of this matter?" Brother Yi went straight to the point. "This matter has already spread like wildfire in Lu Tian Academy." "Of course, I've heard about it." Elder Su replied with a smile. He then asked, "Why? Night Demon, are you interested in the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill?" "The Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill can help me become a heavenly sovereign." "Of course, I'm interested." Night Sorrow replied. "That's true. It's not just you." Now, the students in Lu Tian Academy, especially the lower heavenly sovereigns and middle heavenly sovereigns, have all gone crazy because of the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. As for the upper heavenly sovereigns, they can't use the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill to become a heavenly sovereign. Hence, they are less enthusiastic about it. However, there are still a few who will go to the ancient site to see if there are other opportunities. If you go, you must pay attention to these upper heavenly sovereigns. Elder Su said in a serious tone. Everyone knew that Lu Tian Academy did not prohibit students from killing each other, especially in the Lu Tian battlefield. Hence, if Night Sorrow went to the ancient site, it would be very dangerous. Chapter 32-35. Elder. Night Demon knows the danger of going to the ancient ruins. Can you tell me about the stronger heavenly sovereigns? If I encounter them, I can more or less understand. Also, there are other things to pay attention to. Of course, Night Demon won't mistreat you. If I get a Supreme Heaven Yuan Pill, I'll give you one. Yi Shang knew that elders were not allowed to enter the battleground of the Killer Heaven. It was not easy for Elder Su to get a Supreme Heaven Yuan Pill. This meant that he was cooperating with him. Haha, Night Demon, you're too polite. The Supreme Heaven Yuan Pill doesn't matter. I'll tell you everything I know. Let's talk face to face. Not long after he finished speaking, Elder Su arrived at Yi Shang's residence. He explained the situation of the ancient ruins in detail to him, Su Lei, and Hassa, as well as some of the main experts. After saying all this, Elder Su specially instructed, Night Demon, you must pay attention to Lin Dongqing. Lin Dongqing's strength has increased greatly recently. It seems that he has obtained something from his family. If you encounter him, try to avoid him. Elder Su, I understand. We will try our best to get the Supreme Heaven Yuan Pill and help you advance to Upper Heavenly Sovereign. After Elder Su finished instructing, Night Sorrow promised. Haha. If you have extra, you can gift one to this elder. That's fine too. But if you don't have enough, I'll forget about it. Before you go, make some preparations. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Elder Su looked at Yi Shang, Su Lei, and Dancing Woman, and said, The three of you formed a team, and your talents are excellent. But your strength is limited, so you must not act rashly. It's best if you travel at night and don't clash with others. Goodbye. Elder Su, take care. After Night Sorrow sent Elder Su away, he looked at Su Lei and Hassa and said, It's very dangerous this time. I'll check Gusu's other spatial artifacts first. I'll see if I can find anything. I also need to refine some talismans. Wait for me here. Okay. I'll refine some pills and jade talismans too. Su Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said, then walked into the alchemy room. Whirling Woman was the same. They both knew how dangerous the trip to the ancient ruins was. After separating from the two women, Night Sorrow entered the cultivation room and removed the restrictions on Gusu's other spatial artifacts. After investigating, he found that the ultimate technique named Annihilation was indeed inside. As for the other items, they were of no value to Night Sorrow. Thus, Night Sorrow concentrated on comprehending this secret art called Annihilation. It was recorded on a piece of beast skin. This seems to be an incomplete version. Observing with the sea serpent's eye and sensing with the power of his soul, Night Sorrow discovered that the ultimate technique in front of him was obviously incomplete. He thought to himself, Gusu is already so strong when she executes the incomplete version. How strong would the complete version be? Night Sorrow, if I'm not wrong, the beast skin in your hand has runes on it. As Night Sorrow was studying the beast hide, the male hammer of the forbidden breaking hammers suddenly spoke. There are runes? Why didn't I notice it? After the male hammer of the forbidden breaking hammers finished speaking, Night Sorrow asked in confusion. He had already opened the sea serpent's eye, but he couldn't see the runes at all. You can't see it because this kind of rune is very mysterious. You can't see it at all, you can only sense it. The female hammer and I are very sensitive to the runes, so we can sense it. The male hammer explained and continued, do you need the two of us to break the runes on it? If you can break it, it will be good. You can try. When Night Sorrow heard the male hammer's words, he was pleasantly surprised. He had a premonition that what was hidden under the runes was very likely the complete version of Annihilation. All right, leave it to us, the male hammer said and flew out with the female hammer. They transformed into human form and studied the beast skin in front of them. This beast skin is very impressive, but I can't tell what kind of divine beast it came from. After observing it for a while, the female hammer said, the beast skin is impressive, but it proves that the item might be even more impressive. You can do it. After Night Sorrow said that, he stood to the side and stopped talking. The male hammer and female hammer of the forbidden breaking hammers tried their best to break it. They enjoyed breaking the runes like this. However, Night Sorrow felt that it was a little boring, so he continued to study the 100-word mantra in the cultivation room. In the blink of an eye, 10 years had passed in the cultivation room, and the number of mantra words that Night Sorrow had mastered had reached a total of 30. Just as he was about to comprehend the 31st word, the male hammer said, Night Sorrow, we have broken the runes on the beast skin. You can take a look. Good. Thank you for your hard work. After Yishang said this, he looked at the beast skin that had already been unsealed. After observing for a while, he smiled and said, Good. Very good. This is the complete version of Annihilation. So this ultimate skill is called Destruction of Heaven and Earth. It is mainly used to enhance ultimate skills and divine abilities. After studying it for a while, Night Sorrow found that the ultimate skill of Destruction of Heaven and Earth could be used to enhance other ultimate skills and divine abilities. It could improve their aura qualitatively and use it like Gusu Bi, but that was not its real purpose. Its power was very limited. It's just as you said. Then this ultimate skill of Annihilation cannot be simply called an ultimate skill. It is equivalent to a divine ability that he has comprehended. This Annihilation is really not simple. Hearing this, Little Seven immediately said, if it was simple, it would be impossible for him to always stand at the peak of the eternal supreme world and the fog area. Yishang also sighed in admiration and comprehended the destruction of heaven and earth. After comprehending it, he found that this move could not only enhance ultimate skills and divine abilities, but also affect the cultivator himself. It could allow the cultivator to erupt with great power in a short period of time. This is really good stuff. After learning destruction of heaven and earth, I should be able to compete with ordinary upper heavenly sovereigns. As for those monstrous geniuses in the academy, I still have to fight to know. Night Sorrow was in high spirits. Then, he refined a lot of elixirs and talismans. After coming out of seclusion, he sent a voice transmission to the two women. How are your preparations? According to the time in the real world, only about a year had passed. A year's time would not affect the exploration of the ancient ruins. Therefore, Dancing Lady and Su Lei were not in a hurry. Hearing Night Sorrow's voice transmission, the two of them appeared almost at the same time. Dancing Lady asked, "Night Devil, how is your harvest?" "Very big. The success rate this time has also increased a lot," Night Sorrow said with certainty. Now that he had mastered 3 ultimate skills of Supreme Sovereigns, his combat power had increased significantly. "With your words, we are relieved. Then shall we set off immediately? Only the 3 of us will go?" Su Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. "Yes, just the 3 of us. Because of the Academy's restrictions, my friends can't enter the battlefield." "Let's go." Night Sorrow nodded and said. Then, the 3 of them entered the battlefield together. Chapter 32-36. As soon as the 3 of them entered the battlefield, a strong murderous aura hit them in the face. Night Sorrow, who had already been here, quickly reminded them, "Release your divine territory to block this aura. In addition, there are countless illusions in the battlefield. If you happen to enter, you need to complete the corresponding checkpoints to successfully leave." "When you came in, what checkpoints did you encounter?" Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Dancing Lady knew that he had experienced it personally, so she asked to get some useful information. Night Sorrow recalled and said, "At that time, I encountered a few checkpoints. The most special one should be a martial arts competition for a spouse. I accepted the challenge on the stage. If I lost, I might stay in the illusion forever." "There's such an illusion. Our trip will definitely be very difficult." Su Lei looked at the broken walls and ruins that were not very stable. Looking into the distance, it was a bleak desolation, but it contained endless danger. This made her a little nervous. After all, she and Dancing Lady were the best in this batch, but compared to the old students, they were not enough. "Don't be afraid, if the situation is not right. All of you, enter my space grotto heaven immediately." Night Sorrow looked at Su Lei and comforted her. "Then on this trip, Brother Night Demon, please take care of us." Dancing Lady cupped her hands and bowed to Night Sorrow, then looked into the distance and said, "You can't catch a tiger cub without entering the tiger's den. Let's go." She was very determined. "Okay. Dancing Lady, you have good eyesight. Pay more attention to the front, I'll guard the back." Night Sorrow said and opened the sea serpent's eye to observe the situation around them. As for Dancing Lady, she was responsible for finding the way. According to the map provided by Elder Su, they went all the way to the ancient ruins. In the first few hours, the 3 of them went very smoothly. They only encountered a few gusts of wind and easily avoided them. However, from the edge of the area, they gradually entered the edge of the central area, and immediately encountered a group of Een soldiers. They entered the illusion. The 3 of them fought in the battlefield for 7 days and 7 nights before they successfully killed a bloody path and left the illusion. After killing their way out of the battlefield, Su Lei sighed and said, "Brother Yi did not exaggerate. This illusionary realm was indeed dangerous. I wonder if I can avoid this illusion? If we encounter it a few more times, I'm afraid we won't be able to withstand it. I really don't know how to avoid this thing." Night Sorrow shook his head and said, he had no way of avoiding the illusion here. Dancing Woman also shook her head and said, "Although my eyes are special, I can't see where the illusion is. We can only rely on our luck." "All right then. Let's continue forward and deal with whatever comes our way," Su Lei said with a frown. In fact, the Killer Heaven battlefield was not the only thing that gave her pressure. The 2 elders hidden in her space had been discussing how to deal with Night Sorrow. This made him extremely conflicted. "I will do my best to protect you." Seeing Su Lei's complicated emotions, Night Sorrow comforted him. He continued, "Whirl, continue to watch the road." To him, Dancing Woman and Su Lei could not be of much help. However, this information was provided by the 2 of them, so he was more grateful. There is a rift valley in front, which is not marked on Elder Su's map. Should we fly over the rift valley or go around it? I can't see the rift valley clearly. I don't know if there is any danger in it. After flying for a while, Dancing Woman, who was leading the way, suddenly stopped. In front of them was a rift valley covered in black mist. Dancing Woman could see through the mist on the surface and found that there was a rift valley below, but she could not see what was in the rift valley at all. She was afraid that there was some danger in it. "Let me see." Hearing this, Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to look at the rift valley, but he could not see what was inside. He released the power of his divine soul, but he could not sense what was inside. The power of his divine soul was completely blocked by the Rift Valley. The Rift Valley in front is not on Elder Sue's map at all. Let's go around it, in case we encounter any danger. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow said. At this time Su Lei's expression changed slightly and he said, "The two of you. If I'm not wrong, we have entered an illusion now. The Rift Valley in front of us is very likely the checkpoint we need to break through. It's really possible. If there is this Rift Valley in the battlefield of the Slayer of Heaven, Elder Sue's map will definitely mark it. We might have been tricked again." Dancing Woman looked at the map carefully and said helplessly, "Yes, Su Lei's judgment should be right. Let's go through the Rift Valley." Night Sorrow observed the surrounding environment and felt that Su Lei's judgment was very likely correct. So he said. Then, he landed on the ground with the two women and walked through the entrance of the Rift Valley. As soon as they walked into the Rift Valley, they were sure that the three of them had indeed entered an illusion. Because when they entered the Rift Valley, they immediately saw a large number of walking creatures. These creatures all looked like walking corpses, and their numbers were extremely large. They should be dead cultivators or battle pets. They wandered aimlessly in the Rift Valley. The three of them wanted to turn back, but they found that there was no way back at all. The way into the Rift Valley had been blocked. Since there's no way back, let's kill our way in. Just like the illusion just now, as long as we pass we can get a reward. We can take it to increase our strength. Let's kill. Night Sorrow found that there was no way out. He took out the golden heavenly halberd and activated the green phoenix armor. Dancing Woman heard Night Sorrow's words and also said, "Then let's kill." Kill. Su Lei, who was originally a little nervous, had no energy to think about other things at this time. He took out a short sword and followed behind Night Sorrow, rushing toward the wandering walking corpses. As the battle began, Night Sorrow soon found that the walking corpses in front of them did not have much combat power at all. The three of them fought until the sky was dark, but the battle was very easy. They were not threatened at all, and they did not suffer any injuries. He immediately said, "It shouldn't be so easy to break through such a large-scale illusion. Don't be careless. I also feel that it's a little strange. But since they don't have the ability to stop us, let's continue forward." Dancing Woman shouted and took the lead to charge into the depths of the Rift Valley. However, until they reached the end of the Rift Valley, they could already see the location of the exit, but they still did not encounter much resistance. Night Sorrow said doubtfully, "That's not right. This Rift Valley can't be passed so easily. Let's stop. Don't rush toward the exit." Although he could not see what was at the exit, he knew that it was so simple ahead, which meant that there must be great danger waiting for them. Chapter 32-37. They're here. As soon as Night Sorrow finished speaking, Dancing Lady looked at the exit of the Rift Valley with a solemn expression. "What's here?" Su Lei asked nervously. "Master, the problem we need to solve. There are 3 of them. They are very strong, we have to be careful." After saying that, Hasa Woman completely released her divine realm. She burned her bloodline power and performed the 1,000 illusion eyes. She was ready to fight with her life on the line. They are indeed very strong. 1 upper heavenly supreme and 2 middle heavenly sovereigns. I'll deal with the upper heavenly supreme. As for the other 2, each of you will take 1. After a while, when the enemies were close, Night Sorrow had already seen their figures. They were 3 corpse kings that looked similar to ordinary cultivators. Although these 3 corpse kings looked similar to Night Sorrow on the surface, they appeared to be male cultivators with delicate features. However, their bodies emitted a strong corpse aura. The corpse aura was thousands of times stronger than the aura of the battlefield of the Killer Heaven, and it was mixed with a strong stench. Night Sorrow, who was investigating, felt very uncomfortable. At this moment, Su Lei also noticed the 3 corpse kings in front of her. Compared to the panic when she entered the battlefield of the Killer Heaven, she had regained her usual calmness. She said sternly, "I'll deal with the one on the right." Dancing Lady said, "In my opinion, it's better for us to choose a group battle. After all, we have practiced joint attack techniques and joint attack formations. They definitely won't. That's our advantage." That works too. Night Sorrow, who had been prepared to directly attack the upper heavenly supreme corpse kings, heard Dancing Lady's words and immediately felt that it made sense. Therefore, he did not pull away from the two women. Under the suppression of Dancing Lady's thousand illusion eyes, Night Sorrow directly shot out the Roaring Flames demon-subduing spear. It bombarded the three corpse kings. The Roaring Flames demon-subduing spear looked very beautiful, but it was not very powerful. It was Night Sorrow's test of the three corpse kings. After the flames burned the sky, the three corpse kings, who were originally dressed in ordinary clothes, immediately had black battle armor on their bodies. It was unknown what material this battle armor was made of. When the flames burned on it, it was directly absorbed. At this moment, the upper heavenly sovereign corpse king in the middle said coldly, "I'll give the three of you a chance. Stay here forever and pledge your loyalty to us. Otherwise, your soul will be destroyed." "Swear allegiance to you, corpse kings? Will I become a corpse like you?" Yishan laughed coldly and said, "I'm not interested. Let's fight." "You two lower heavenly sovereigns and a half-step heavenly sovereign aren't qualified for me to take action." Upon hearing Night Sorrow's words, the upper heavenly sovereign corpse king in the middle said disdainfully, "You two, quickly kill the three of them. This emperor will support you. You're just a corpse. How dare you be so arrogant?" After the strongest corpse king finished speaking, he stepped back to watch the battle, which made Dancing Woman unhappy. Su Lei was also enraged. Without saying a word, she stabbed her sword towards one of the corpse kings. Her sword carried a trace of the aura of an emperor. After stabbing out, a dragon's roar was heard. "If this king is not mistaken, you should have been an emperor." "Very good." Seeing that Su Lei's attack contained a dragon's roar and a weak aura of an emperor, the corpse king that was attacked by her. After saying this hoarsely, it grabbed at Su Lei's sword with its cracked claws. Although Su Lei's sword was extremely fast, it was still caught by the corpse king and was broken. What a strong strength! Seeing that Su Lei's divine weapon was broken, Night Sorrow murmured. He waved his golden heavenly halberd and attacked with a divine spear. At this moment, he did not activate the Treastrimsa battle secret technique, nor did he use the Annihilation Absolute Art. However, it was still much stronger than Su Lei's attack. Facing this attack, the corpse king that was attacked still used its claws to scratch, but it was stabbed and green blood flowed out. This green blood contained a large number of corpse worms. As the blood flowed out, these corpse worms all flew out and attacked Night Sorrow. It looked very disgusting. On the other side, Dancing Woman was fighting with another corpse king. Seeing that Dancing Woman was in a tight spot, Night Sorrow transmitted his voice to Su Lei. "The two of you fight the other corpse king together. Leave the one in front to me. To deal with the two in front of us, we don't need to use the combined attack technique. Leave the combined attack technique to the last corpse emperor." "Alright. I'll go and help." Hearing Night Sorrow's transmission, Su Lei immediately went to help Dancing Woman. Night Sorrow faced the corpse king and the large number of corpse worms alone. "You're not bad. An Earth Sovereign can actually hurt this king. After this king kills you, he will refine you into the most perfect corpse demon." The corpse king roared hoarsely and rushed towards Night Sorrow with the corpse worms that filled the sky. He chose close combat, which was also his forte. Shameless boasting. After being killed, you can only live in the illusion. Where did you get your confidence from? In the face of the corpse king's provocation, Night Sorrow replied disdainfully and used the Qingxian Godly Spear technique to fight with him. After using the Qingxian Godly Spear technique, he quickly gained the upper hand. But the corpse king in front of him, after completely exploding, had a shocking defensive power. Although he was able to beat it back, he couldn't hurt it at all. As for the corpse worms that filled the sky, they couldn't break Night Sorrow's protective divine domain at all, so they were no threat. "You're also very confident, but your attacks don't have much power. You can't hurt this king at all. If you continue like this, you'll definitely die from exhaustion." The corpse king, who had raised his defensive power to the strongest, noticed that Su Lei and Dancing Woman couldn't suppress the other corpse king and immediately roared confidently. "You're thinking too much. Destroy the heavens and earth." In the face of the corpse king's provocation, Night Sorrow smiled coldly. At this moment, he didn't activate any state, nor did he use his most powerful attack. After thinking for a while, he decided to test out Annihilation's unique skill: destroy the heavens and earth. After learning this move, he hadn't used it in actual combat, so he didn't know how effective it was. After responding to the Corpse King in front of him, he used it. When the complete version of Destroy the Heavens and Earth was used, Knight Sorrow immediately felt his whole body go crazy. A thought of destroying the world rose in his heart. Not long after, he went completely crazy and attacked the Corpse King with incomparable frenzy, almost unable to control his mind. Let him be. Let's see how crazy this Destroy the Heavens and Earth can be. Knight Sorrow knew that this wasn't good for him. Logically speaking, he should use the power of merit to alleviate it. But he wanted to know how far Destroy the Heavens and Earth could go, so he didn't control himself and fought crazily. After being controlled by Destroy the Heavens and Earth, he used the 9 steps of the Defiant Heavens and the Qingxian Godly Spear technique. His attack speed and strength increased by more than 10 times. He became very powerful and soon completely suppressed the Corpse King in front of him. Chapter 32-38. Strong. Indeed very strong. It's just that it's easy to lose yourself in the crazy attacks. After suppressing the Corpse King, Knight Sorrow's speed and attack strength continued to increase. Gradually, Knight Sorrow discovered that there was no end to this increase. If he was willing, he could increase it to a state where he couldn't withstand it and directly explode. This was naturally not what he wanted to see. Thus, he secretly used the power of virtue to slow down the momentum, stabilizing the speed and attack strength at around 30 times. On the surface, this looked similar to the 33 Heavens battle secret technique. In fact, Knight Sorrow was also supported by the potential battle intent of Armageddon. Thus, the two were not on the same level. And the Corpse King, who was continuously attacked by Knight Sorrow, was soon beaten to the point where he couldn't fight back. He couldn't help but cry for help. "Emperor, save me. I'm not his match." "If you're not his match, then accept the fate of being killed," the Corpse Emperor said coldly to the Corpse King's cry for help. He had no intention of helping at all. It seems that the setting is to first kill the 2 Corpse Kings and then kill the strongest Corpse Emperor. This is something that the Corpse Emperor in front of us can't change. If the 3 of them attack together, it's really difficult for us to deal with them. After the Corpse Emperor spoke, Knight Sorrow immediately understood what was going on. In the situation where the victory was already decided, he transmitted to Su Lei and Dancing Woman, who also had the advantage, and said, "Don't be in a hurry to kill them. Try to recover as much divine origin power as possible. I think that if we kill these 2 in front of us, we'll definitely fight with the Corpse Emperor." "Alright. We're afraid that the Corpse Emperor will come out to help, so we're going all out." Dancing Woman, who was also excited to kill, only now noticed that Knight Sorrow had already beaten the Corpse King in front of them to a pulp. After that, he had the ability to kill, but he didn't use his ultimate skill. Then, together with Su Lei, she swallowed a medicinal dan to recover. When the 3 of them killed the 2 Corpse Kings in front of them, they had basically recovered to their peak state. Only he suffered a trace of backlash from Armageddon, and the negative emotions in his heart were unceasing. He had the feeling of wanting to destroy the world. But this kind of emotion, he quickly suppressed it with the power of virtue. Xiao Chen thought to himself, "If I don't have the power of beneficence and recklessly use destruction of heaven and earth, I'll probably go crazy sooner or later." The 3 of you killed 2 of this emperor's servants. Prepare to accept this emperor's punishment. At this moment, the Corpse Emperor slowly flew over and roared sternly, "Only we can punish you, you don't have the chance to punish us." Facing the strongest Corpse Emperor in the Rift Valley, Knight Sorrow immediately activated the Treastrimsa battle technique and the Azure Phoenix battle armor. He understood that the Corpse Emperor in front of him was definitely much stronger than the 2 Corpse Kings combined. He transmitted his voice to the 2 girls, "Unleash your strongest attacks, and use a combined attack." "Alright." Su Lei responded and immediately transformed into Yu Jia. They soared into the sky. Whirling Woman withdrew her 1,000 illusion eyes. He gathered his energy and unleashed Descent of All Evils at the Corpse Emperor. What kind of move is this? Seeing that Hassa Woman was using all evil, the Zombie Emperor, who had been standing still, immediately appeared behind Hassa Woman in a flash. However, the Dancing Woman's Descent of All Evils didn't even have time to react before it slammed into the ground of the Rift Valley. "Be careful, Hassa." Seeing that the Corpse Emperor had appeared behind Hassa Woman, He wanted to destroy her. Knight Sorrow immediately used the Divine Finger. Because at this moment, he didn't even have the chance to use the Divine Spear. Facing the attack of the Divine Finger, the Corpse Emperor gave up the idea of attacking Hassa Woman and used his movement technique to dodge again. At this moment, Su Lai was spitting out flames in a large area below. However, the Corpse Emperor was too fast. Even the flames that filled the sky were easily dodged. Seeing his performance, Hassa Woman frowned and said, "Night Demon! Su Lai and I can't keep up with the Corpse Emperor's speed at all. We can't attack him. It's up to you. If you can't attack him, then we definitely can't break out." This Corpse Emperor is indeed not ordinary. Although he hasn't attacked yet, his attack power is definitely not weak. How about this? You and Su Lai enter my space grotto heaven. Watch my battle with the Corpse Emperor. Knight Sorrow could use the Sea Serpent's Eye to observe that the Corpse Emperor was not simple. He could easily dodge Su Lai and Hassa Woman's attacks, and he had a lot of room to spare. Even if Su Lai and Hassa Woman's speed increased by 10 times, it shouldn't have much effect. Under such circumstances, Knight Sorrow directly kept them in his space grotto heaven. Keeping them in the grotto heaven was also to conceal the existence of the power of merit. Then, he activated the destruction of heaven and earth and burned his bloodline power, and activated the power of merit. He raised his strength to the strongest state in his life and continuously used the 12-word formula, together with the Divine Origin Trap Array and the Power of Merit Trap Array, to control the Corpse Emperor's speed. Then, he used the Supreme Dragon Subduing Technique, summoned the Kuan Pang, and let it feign an attack. He held the Golden Heavenly Halberd and used the Qing Xian Divine Spear Technique to attack the Corpse Emperor. The Golden Heavenly Halberd even turned golden due to the purification of the power of merit. Impossible! You are just an Earth Sovereign. How can you burst out with such speed? Your speed can already surpass 90% of upper heavenly sovereigns. Under the support of the destruction of heaven and earth and the Trayastrimsa battle secret technique, Knight Sorrow's speed had completely surpassed the Corpse Emperor, who was affected by the word formula and the trap array. Under such circumstances, the Corpse Emperor, who was forced to fight Knight Sorrow head-on, said in disbelief, "Nothing is impossible, only you haven't seen it before." Knight Sorrow replied coldly. After fighting for a while, he realized that the Golden Heavenly Halberd was almost unable to hurt the Corpse Emperor. Thus, he summoned the ancient coffin from the space. He smashed the Corpse Emperor fiercely. After being smashed by the ancient coffin, how could the Corpse Emperor withstand it? Soon he was smashed into ashes. After completely killing him, Knight Sorrow and the Golden Heavenly Halberd absorbed the aura of the ancient coffin again, and turned into the appearance of the cultivators in the foggy area. Only then did he summon Su Lai and Hassa Woman. He divided the rewards equally between the two of them and said, "This is the reward, we each have a portion." He didn't leave any for himself. The battle that Su Lai and Hassa Woman saw in the grotto heaven just now wasn't real. But in general, it was similar to a real battle. They knew that Knight Sorrow's victory didn't come easily. They said in unison, "We didn't help much in this battle. You should take the reward yourself." "No need. My cultivation has already stagnated at the peak of Earth Sovereign. Taking these rewards won't have any effect at all. It's better for the two of you to take them," Knight Sorrow said unquestionably. Then he looked at the surrounding environment and said, "Now that we have left the Rift Valley, I have suffered a great backlash and need some time to recover. I will set up a concealment array and recover here. When I recover, we will continue to move towards the ancient ruins." Chapter 32-39. The recoil brought by the destruction of heaven and earth would affect one's emotions, divine soul, and body. In the process of battle, Knight Sorrow was suppressing his negative emotions. After setting up the concealment array, he sat cross-legged on the ground and used the power of merit to secretly repair the effects on his divine soul and body. Seeing Knight Sorrow sit down quietly, Su Lai said gratefully, "No matter what, this time, I have to thank you. I'll protect you." Although Dancing Lady did not say anything, she opened her eyes and carefully observed the surroundings. To prevent the enemy from attacking. In this battlefield, the most terrifying enemy was not the illusion, but the other people of Lu Tian Academy. These people were both geniuses and murderous maniacs. If they encountered weak or injured people, they would definitely kill them mercilessly. After being on guard for an hour and not finding any traces of the enemy, Dancing Lady was a little tired and temporarily put away her vigilant eyes. Looking at Su Lei, she said, Su Lei, I used too much energy during the battle. Now that I've been on guard for so long, I can't hold on any longer. I also need to rest for a while. You can protect us. Okay, I'll protect you. But I don't have special eyes, so the range of my vigilance is limited. Su Lei responded and then explained. Hearing this, Dancing Lady smiled and said, It should be fine. After all, I was on guard for an hour and didn't find anything. Besides, I'll be able to recover soon. Hurry up and recover. Night Devil is our savior. We still need to be on guard for him. Su Lei nodded and said. Dancing Lady was relieved to recover. At this moment, an elder in Su Lei's space cave said, Su Lei. Right now, Night Devil and Dancing Lady are not in good condition. It's a good opportunity for us to control them and force them to obey the organization. Let us out. Elder. Night Sorrow just saved my life. I can't harm him. Hearing this elder's words, Su Lei immediately refused. She was loyal to the organization, but she felt that she could not do such an ungrateful thing. Su Lei, have you forgotten who helped you and avenged you when your dynasty was destroyed and your family was slaughtered? After Su Lei responded, the elder named Lang Tu continued. Elder. Su Lei was not an ungrateful person. However, the night demon had just saved me, and I had attacked him. This was repaying kindness with enmity. Besides, the two of you might not be a match for him. Su Lei continued to respond. Hearing this, Lang Tu immediately exploded with rage and said, Bastard! Right now, the night demon and the whirling woman are recovering. They are not on guard against you at all. If the three of us launch a sneak attack at the same time, they'll definitely suffer heavy injuries. At that time they'll be at our mercy. Elder Lang Tu, I once lost to the night demon in a bet. I swore that if I were to harm him, I would immediately suffer the wrath of the heavens. If he were to attack it now, he would immediately be struck by the heavenly Tao. Is the organization willing to sacrifice me for the night demon? At this moment, Su Lei said word by word. To the organization, the night demon's value is thousands of times greater than yours. Sacrificing you is nothing. Don't forget the oath you made when you joined us. Do it. Lang Tu said word by word. I, Su Lei, once made a vow to the heavenly Tao. If the organization doesn't let me down, I will never betray the organization. I will follow all the organization's orders. But what you're saying now, are you worthy of me? Let me tell you, from today onwards, I, Su Lei, will withdraw from your nameless and cold-blooded organization. Su Lei said coldly. At this moment, although he did not make any movements, a strong murderous aura exploded from his body. Su Lei, how dare you choose to betray us? You're courting death. Lang Tu, who was in Su Lei's space cave, roared loudly. He took out a hairpin and silently chanted a spell. After Lang Tu silently chanted the spell, Su Lei immediately covered his head and fell to the ground, wailing in pain. Humph. Do you think that just because we're in your space cave, we'll be suppressed by you? Dream on. When you joined the organization, we already did something to you. This jade hairpin spell can take your life. Don't make a fuss and let us out quickly. After Su Lei fell to the ground and wailed, Lang Tu immediately threatened. They knew that if things were delayed for a little while, Night Sorrow and the whirling woman would have a chance to recover. Even if I die, I won't let you out. If you have the ability, kill me. At this moment, Su Lei was in so much pain that sweat flowed down his forehead. He looked like a woman in labor. This was immediately noticed by Night Sorrow. He immediately transmitted his voice. Su Lei, what's wrong? The two elders of the organization behind me wanted to come out of my space cave to deal with you while you were recovering. I didn't want to, so they used the jade hairpin spell to deal with me. Now I beg you one thing. After I die, absorb my bloodline. Don't let the bloodline of Wuxia be lost. Su Lei, whose forehead was full of sweat, had the ability to transmit his voice. However, he did not have the ability to deal with Lang Tu and Zhao Ning in the space cave. He felt that he would definitely die. At this moment, Night Sorrow transmitted his voice again. No matter who is in your space cave, let them out first. I have the ability to deal with them. He cultivated the power of merit and could tell that Su Lei was not lying. He was somewhat touched. He felt that it was good that he did not get the heart of a wolf for treating Su Lei and the whirling woman sincerely. But the two of them are very strong. They are both middle heavenly sovereigns, close to upper heavenly sovereigns. Su Lei reminded him worriedly. In her interactions with Night Sorrow and the whirling woman, she felt that they were friends. That was something she did not have in the organization. Her temperament had changed greatly, and she did not want to hurt the two of them. Don't worry. Didn't the Corpse Emperor, an upper heavenly sovereign in the illusion, die at my hands? Two middle heavenly sovereigns are nothing. Night Sorrow said confidently. Then he continued, besides, Whirling Woman is ready now. We have a good chance of winning. You don't have to fight to the death with them. All right then. Even if I have to fight to the death, I will make sure that they hurt the two of you. Seeing that Night Sorrow was so determined, Su Lei transmitted his voice to Lang Tu. Don't torture me anymore. I'll let you out. I'll let you out. Humph, bitch. If you knew this would happen, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. After getting an affirmative answer, Lang Tu scolded disdainfully. Zhao Ning transmitted her voice. Lang Tu, it's not good to fall out with her like this. In the future, we will have one less pawn in the Killer Heaven Academy. Don't worry. She's not the only pawn. One of our pawns is in the Killer Heaven battlefield now. When we get out, we'll send him a message and summon him. As long as we can make the Night Demon and the Whirling Woman submit, losing Su Lei is nothing, Lang Tu said maliciously. Chapter 3240. What you said makes sense. The Night Demon's value is far greater than Su Lei's. This is worth taking a gamble on. When will Bing Han arrive? Zhao Ning immediately asked after hearing Lang Tu's words. Bing Han was one of their organization's pawns in Lu Tian Academy. He had entered Lu Tian Academy 2 batches earlier than Night Sorrow. He was now a middle heavenly sovereign, but his strength was similar to an ordinary upper heavenly sovereign. He was the 4th genius in their batch. Bitch, what are you waiting for? Let us out. Lang Tu shouted angrily when Su Lei still did not let the two of them out. I'll let you out. I'll let you out now. Su Lei pretended to be weak and said. He then let Lang Tu and Zhao Ning out of his space hollow. Let's attack the Night Demon together. As long as we control him, the swaying lady will not be a threat at all. The moment he was let out, Lang Tu sent a message to Zhao Ning and took out a divine weapon in the shape of a mountain. He controlled it and pressed it towards Night Sorrow, who was not far away. Do we need to hold back? As for Zhao Ning, he asked Lang Tu if he should use all his strength. He was afraid that the 2 middle heavenly sovereigns would kill Night Sorrow directly. Lang Tu, who was attacking Night Sorrow, smiled and said, There's no need for that. As long as you don't destroy his elixir field and spiritual soul. You guys are thinking too much. Hearing their conversation, Yi Shang sneered and used the 9 steps of the Defiant Heaven to dodge. However, the mountain that Lang Tu had summoned had the effect of confinement, which greatly reduced his speed. Zhao Ning seized the opportunity and used the divine weapon, Fish Shadow Sword, to stab out 99 times. What a fast sword move. Zhao Ning's sword was extremely fast. If not for the sea serpent's eye, Night Sorrow would not have been able to see it clearly. At this moment, although he could see it clearly, it was unrealistic for him to shoot out hundreds of times in an instant to block it. He roared and immediately used the golden heavenly halberd to attack with the roaring flame demon spear. He used a large area of flames to burn the sword shadows that Zhao Ning had shot out. However, the effect was not very good. It was unable to block these sword shadows. After that, Night Sorrow added in the combination of the 3 words of frozen ice, greatly reducing the speed of the sword shadow. Then he easily dodged the attack. Kid, you've got some skills. As expected of the person that the organization spent so much effort to get. Lang Tu praised Night Sorrow for being able to easily dodge Zhao Ning's sword shadow even under the pressure of the mountain peak. Then he sneered and said, However, in front of us brothers, these are simply insignificant tricks. Now, I'll show you what the true difference in strength is. After he finished speaking, Lang Tu's body, which didn't look very muscular, suddenly swelled up in an instant. His entire body seemed to have turned into a piece of black iron, full of power. He sent a telepathic message to Zhao Ning, instructing her to be in charge of suppressing him with spells. Then, he approached Night Sorrow, clearly intending to engage in close combat. Don't worry. I will suppress him and guard against Hassa at the same time. Zhao Ning made a sound of agreement, then used an ultimate technique on Yi Shang. This secret technique was called Netherworld. It was a type of illusion. He wanted to use this illusion to distract Night Sorrow. At the same time, he chose to attack Hassa first and stabbed her dozens of times in a row. Although there weren't many sword shadows this time, the attack power was much stronger. It was to directly kill Hassa. However, after the sword shadows stabbed Hassa, Zhao Ning was shocked to discover that what he stabbed was an illusion. At this time, Hassa had already disappeared. Do you think I will sit there and wait for your attack? Just as Zhao Ning realized that he had missed, Hassa, who was hidden in the void, suddenly attacked him with the descent of all evil. She had been preparing this move for a long time. The figure that was hit just now was her projection. It was not real at all. Descent of all evil? I think I've heard of it. Facing Hassa's descent of all evil, the thought in Zhao Ning's mind disappeared in a flash and he was directly hit. It turned out that Hassa's sneak attack also borrowed the strength of an illusion. By the time Zhao Ning reacted, this move was already close to his body. I'm not injured? After being hit by descent of all evil, Zhao Ning found that he was not injured. At first, it could be that his body was strong enough to withstand Hassa's attack. But soon, he realized that something was wrong. After being hit by descent of all evil, he was immediately plagued by bad luck. His body was suffused with an evil black light. It was not as simple as his glabella turning black. There was not a single spot on his body that was unharmed. After confirming that Zhao Ning had been hit, Hassa sent a voice transmission to Night Sorrow. Night Demon, I will deal with this one in front of me. He has been hit by descent of all evil and is definitely not my match. You can deal with the other one with ease. It's best to end the battle quickly to avoid any more trouble. I will deal with him as soon as possible. Night Sorrow, who responded, felt a headache at this time. This was because Lang Tu's body was too strong. Fighting with him put a lot of pressure on him. If he wanted to end the battle quickly, he would have to take out the ancient coffin. But recently, he had been relying on the ancient coffin, which made Night Sorrow feel a little uncomfortable. He felt that he could not use that thing in battle. So, he did not take it out now. Instead, he used destruction of heaven and earth at the same time as he used the Trayastrimsa battle secret technique. With the golden heavenly halberd in his hand, he fought with Lung Tuesday. Night Sorrow, who had gone crazy, was not inferior to Lung Tu in terms of strength. With the help of the 100 Words mantra, he had a slight advantage. But this Lung Tu in front of him had extremely high defense. He really could not finish him off in a short time. At this time, Su Lei, who was lying on the ground, suddenly sent a voice transmission to Night Sorrow. You and Hassa better finish off the two in front of you quickly. From what I know, that organization still has a few people in Lu Tian Academy. If we delay for too long, their reinforcements might come. At this time, she was still being tortured by Lung Tuesday. She was extremely uncomfortable, but she could not die even if she wanted to. Not to mention getting up to fight. Thank you for the reminder. Night Sorrow, who had not thought about this, was reminded. After thinking for a while, he realized that things were not as simple as they seemed. Logically speaking, when entering the border of Lu Tian's battlefield, one could use the space hollow to bring people in. But when entering the core area of the battlefield, one could not bring unrelated people in. And Su Lei had brought Lang Tu and Zhao Ning in without being discovered. This meant that the organization had already figured out a way to avoid Lu Tian Academy's investigation. If there were reinforcements, they might bring a lot of helpers. That would be extremely dangerous. After thinking it through, Night Sorrow immediately sent a voice transmission to Hassa Lady. The two of you should finish off the two of them as soon as possible. Then bring Su Lei away. Alright. He's been hit by my descent of all evils. He shouldn't be able to hold on for long. Hassa Lady replied when she heard Night Sorrow's voice transmission. She knew that Night Sorrow never talked nonsense. He must have his reasons for saying this. Chapter 32-41. After replying to Night Sorrow, Dancing Lady executed 1,000 illusion eyes and launched a frenzied bombardment at Zhao Ning. facing the bombardment of thousands of black holes in the void. Originally, Zhao Ning had the ability to dodge all of them. But after being hit by Descent of All Evil and being plagued by bad luck, he became extremely unlucky. No matter how perfect his movement technique was executed, he would always be hit by accidents. He could not dodge no matter what, making him very uncomfortable. Under Dancing Lady's non-stop bombardment, Zhao Ning soon could not hold on and transmitted his voice to Lang Tu. Elder Lung, I've been hit by her ultimate art. Now that I'm plagued by bad luck, I can't dodge her attacks. Hurry up and finish off Night Devil and come over to help me. Why don't you think about it? If Night Devil was easier to deal with than Dancing Lady, would he be designated as a top target by the organization? This elder isn't feeling good right now either. Hold on, as long as we wait for reinforcements, we can win. Lang Tu heard Zhao Ning's voice transmission and replied huffily. Although his body's strength was very impressive, Night Sorrow was not to be outdone. Especially when he executed Apocalypse, it really had a kind of apocalyptic aura. It was simply as if he had transformed into a war god. At this time, Lang Tu was already completely suppressed. He only had the strength to retaliate and did not have the ability to parry. He was rather passive. How could he have the ability to help Zhao Ning? I didn't expect that these two people are so impressive. It can't be measured with cultivation at all. We can only wait for Icy Han to arrive. When he brings people over, these two people in front of us definitely won't be a match. Hearing Lang Tu's words, Zhao Ning, who only looked at Night Sorrow, was immediately surprised with this look. He discovered that the current Night Sorrow had an invincible concept on him, like a celestial god descending to the mortal world. He immediately understood that it was already not easy for Lang Tu to be able to hold on bitterly. Icy Han transmitted his voice. He still has 100 breaths of time to arrive. Elder Zhao Ning, you have to hold on no matter what. Right at this time, Lang Tu, who was originally suppressed by Night Sorrow, suddenly became spirited and transmitted his voice over. Hearing this, Zhao Ning's aura immediately rose too. While dodging Dancing Lady's attacks, he started organizing a counterattack. The current him did not care about divine essence energy consumption at all and brought out a desperate aura. In the face of Zhao Ning's crazy counterattack, the limited dancing woman couldn't do anything to him. Thus, he sent a voice transmission to Night Sorrow. Night Demon, he and I are already evenly matched. I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to defeat him in a short period of time. It's up to you now. Good. My opponent shouldn't be able to hold on for long. After replying to Hassa, Night Sorrow hesitated for a moment before summoning the disguised Dragon of Virtue. Let the Dragon of Merit help Su Lei cleanse his pain. While helping to purify the pain, he was also preparing to completely purify it. He wanted her to sever all ties with the organization and the fog. What kind of method is this? No, we can't let him succeed. After discovering that Night Sorrow had summoned the Dragon of Virtue, his suppression on Su Lei was dispelled. Lang Tu was immediately puzzled. He understood that if Su Lei recovered, in a 3-against-2 situation, he and Zhao Ning would definitely not be a match. Thus, he immediately sent out a clone to attack Su Lei, preparing to kill Su Lei. I've been waiting for this moment. At this moment, Night Sorrow had already predicted that Lang Tu would do this. He kept Su Lei in his own space and allowed him to avoid Lang Tu's attack. In the moment of Lang Tu's clone, he summoned the Eternal Divine Tower and attacked. At the same time, he used the Supreme Dragon Subduing Technique and summoned the Kuan Peng. On the other hand, he continuously used the 12-word technique. He also used the Nirvana Heartfire. After using all these, he continued to use the 9 steps of the Heaven-Defying Technique and attacked Lang Tu. Not good. I was careless. In the face of such a dense attack, Lang Tu was flustered and somewhat regretted attacking Su Lei. This caused him to be in a mess. I've even brewed the Nirvana Heartfire. What else do you have to resist? Night Sorrow understood that Lang Tu's body was very strong and was already stronger than most Sky Sovereigns. However, the strength of his soul was obviously not so exaggerated. After blocking other attacks and being hit by the Nirvana Heartfire, his soul couldn't withstand it. Lang Tu's soul was broken and he was instantly defeated. He couldn't withstand Night Sorrow's other attacks and was soon beaten by Night Sorrow to the point that he couldn't fight back. He sent a message to Zhao Ning and asked for help. Elder Zhao Ning, save me. Save me. Sigh. I can't even protect myself. I don't have the ability to save you. Looks like we can't hold on until Bing Han arrives. Zhao Ning replied weakly. At this moment, he was attacking with all his might and could barely suppress Dancing Lady. The situation looked good, but in reality, he didn't have any advantage. A single slip really brings everlasting sorrow. Facing Night Sorrow and Dancing Lady, the two of them couldn't see any hope of winning. Ling Tu immediately sent a message to Bing Han. Bing Han. You don't have to rush over. Elder Zhao Ning and I can't hold on anymore. The destination of the Night Demon and Su Lei was the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. You can just bring your men to the ancient site and wait. Two elders. I'll avenge you. Bing Han, who was rushing in this direction, immediately replied sinisterly when he heard this. At this moment, Night Sorrow and Dancing Lady realized that Lang Tu and Zhao Ning seemed to have lost their courage to fight back. Night Sorrow, who was about to kill the two of them, immediately sent a message to Dancing Lady. Don't kill them. Capture them. Alright. The two of them should have accomplices in the Killer Heaven battlefield. Capture the two of them should be useful. Dancing Lady, who heard Night Sorrow's message, immediately understood Night Sorrow's intention. With Night Sorrow's help, they easily captured Lang Tu and Zhao Ning and kept them in Night Sorrow's spatial hollow. After killing the two of them, Night Sorrow immediately went to check on Su Lei's condition. Lang Tu was controlled and the curse in Su Lei's body was immediately lifted. The remaining dark aura was completely purified by Night Sorrow. What's going on? After Night Sorrow had completely purified Su Lei, many memories suddenly appeared in Su Lei's mind. At this moment, she realized that she was not from the foggy area. Nor was she from the Eternal Supreme World. Instead, she was from a hidden world adjacent to the Eternal Supreme World. The name of this world was the Eternal Ancient Barren World. It had existed for much longer than the Eternal Supreme World. Because it had not been discovered by the foggy area, it had not been conquered. Su Lei was originally the emperor there. Later, there was suddenly a strong enemy there and all of Su Lei's people were killed. At this time, people from the organization appeared and brought her to the foggy area. Step by step she grew to what she was now. Su Lei, what's wrong with you? Did you remember something? Seeing Su Lei's strange expression, Night Sorrow suddenly asked in confusion. Night Demon. I'm not from the foggy area. I'm also not from the Eternal Supreme World. After a moment of silence, Su Lei suddenly spoke. Chapter 32-42. What? You're not from the Eternal Supreme World, nor are you from the foggy area. Then where are you from? Are you from the Deceiving Tribe? Night Sorrow immediately asked when he heard Su Lei's words. So far, aside from the Eternal Supreme Realm and the Misty Region, the only people Night Sorrow knew of from the other realms were the Heaven Deceivers. Hearing this, Su Lei immediately denied. I'm not from the Deceiving Tribe. I'm from the Eternal Ancient Barren World. Eternal Ancient Barren World? Does it still exist? When Night Sorrow heard this name, he immediately thought of the missing Supreme Longevity and others. He guessed if they had gone there. In my memory it should exist. But later, I followed the people of the organization to the foggy area. Su Lei's memories of his hometown were still from before he went to the foggy area, so he answered truthfully. Do you know how to reach the Eternal Ancient Barren World? Night Sorrow quickly asked. Su Lei thought for a moment and said, We can find the entrance. Night Demon, what are you planning to do by asking about this? Some of my family members have gone missing. I can't find them in the Eternal Supreme World and the foggy area. I suspect that they have gone to other realms. That's why I asked so much when I heard you mention the Eternal Ancient Barren World. Night Sorrow said truthfully, but did not mention that he came from the Eternal Supreme World. I see. When we leave the battlefield, I'll take you to the Eternal Ancient Barren World. Su Lei, who was still a little weak, promised. Seeing that Su Lei's breath was very weak, Night Sorrow continued. You should recover in my grotto heaven first. When you're almost recovered, come out and fight side by side with us. Pasua and I will continue our journey. Okay. Su Lei responded and prepared to take the elixir and start his cultivation. But at this time, he suddenly thought of the organization behind him and said, That's right. Night Demon. In the organization behind me, There seems to be an expert half a step to the Supreme Realm. And they've been to the eternal ancient barren world. If you go, you might encounter danger. After all, they want to deal with you. Don't worry, as long as I can advance to the Heavenly Supreme in the battlefield, I can go. Have a good rest and leave the rest to me and Pasua. Knight Sorrow said. Then he looked at Dancing Woman, who was looking at him in confusion, and said, Let's go. What were you talking to Su Lei about? How is she? Dancing Woman guessed that Knight Sorrow must be talking to Su Lei, so she asked curiously. I asked about her injuries and some things about her hometown. By the way, where is your hometown? Knight Sorrow replied before changing the topic. Isn't my hometown the foggy area? Our clan is the original inhabitants of the fog zone. But now, this is the world of the three supreme venerables. We only have our clan and no home. Swaying Woman said unwillingly. The natives of the foggy area were actually very dissatisfied with the three supreme venerables. However, due to the difference in strength, they did not dare to voice their anger. Hehe. If I attack the three supreme monarchs one day, will you and your people do the same? Knight Sorrow asked with a smile as he flew towards the ancient ruins. You can't say that casually. Swaying Woman did not answer this question, nor did she ask anything. Together with Knight Sorrow, she flew towards the ancient ruins. Not long after, the two of them encountered another illusion. In the illusion, there were countless wandering souls of lower heavenly sovereigns. Originally, Knight Sorrow and Swaying Woman had some difficulty dealing with them. However, at this time, the lower half of the Eternal Divine Tower took action and absorbed all the wandering souls, turning them into energy. As a result, this illusion became the easiest one for Knight Sorrow to pass. Swaying Woman received the reward of this illusion. After swallowing it, she suddenly advanced to a middle heavenly sovereign. She became the second person to advance to a middle heavenly sovereign in this batch after Gusu. This was a surprise for Knight Sorrow. After Swaying Woman finished her tribulation, Knight Sorrow looked at her and said, Congratulations, Swaying. If you can get the Supreme Heavenly Origin Pill in the ancient ruins this time, you may advance again. At that time, you can catch up with the students of the previous batches. Even Lin Dongqing might not be a match for you. It is possible to catch up with the others. However, the reason why Lin Dongqing did not advance to a middle heavenly sovereign quickly was not because he did not have the ability to advance. It was because he wanted to strengthen his foundation. Otherwise, he would have the ability to advance to an upper heavenly sovereign long ago. After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, Swaying Woman immediately told him the reason why Lin Dongqing did not advance. It turned out that Lin Dongqing had been staying at a lower heavenly sovereign in order to reach the half-step to Supreme Realm in the future. The truly talented do not need to make any stops. That Lin Dongqing will not have great achievements. Hearing Swaying Woman's words, Knight Sorrow said disdainfully. He really did not think highly of Lin Dongqing. Then he continued to ask, All right, Swaying. You have been in Lu Tian Academy for more time than me. Do you know who the true geniuses are in the academy? These things are confidential in the academy. I don't know. However, I heard that there is a middle courtyard in Lu Tian Academy where the geniuses of the geniuses gather. Those geniuses all have the possibility of advancing to the half-step to Supreme Realm. If you perform well when you leave New Elegant Peak, you should be able to enter that place. Swaying Woman told him what she knew. It seems that the geniuses who have the possibility of advancing to the Supreme Realm must be in this middle courtyard. When Knight Sorrow heard Swaying Woman's words, he immediately became interested in this middle courtyard. After all, his main purpose of sneaking into Lu Tian Academy was to find a suitable body for supreme longevity. There is a fight ahead. Swaying Woman suddenly spoke when Knight Sorrow was slightly distracted. I don't know who is fighting. Let's go over and take a look. Knight Sorrow, who had regained his senses, said something to Swaying Woman and took the lead to fly in front. In the process of flying, he used a concealment talisman on himself and Swaying Woman. If a heavenly sovereign used their spiritual energy to investigate, this kind of concealment talisman would be easily detected. However, the people fighting in front of them were focused on the battle and naturally did not notice it. Soon, Knight Sorrow brought Swaying Woman to a place where he could see clearly with the sea serpent's eye. With this look, Knight Sorrow immediately realized that the people fighting in front of them. One of them was Lin Dongqing and the other students from the previous cohort. Knight Sorrow did not know the other side, but he was sure that they were students from the previous cohort. Their battle was evenly matched and had reached a white-hot level. Should we help the other side to deal with Lin Dongqing? Swaying Woman immediately asked after seeing the battle situation clearly. No. Elder Su had specially said that Lin Dongqing had extraordinary means. We will wait here and see what he is capable of. Yi Shang replied. Then, he and Dancing Woman hid and continued to watch the battle. Chapter 32-43. There were a total of 20 people on both sides. At this moment, they were fighting, and from afar, they looked like rings of light. Knight Sorrow and Dancing Woman's gazes were mainly focused on Lin Dongqing and a male cultivator on the other side. This male cultivator had the strength of an upper heavenly supreme, and he was faintly suppressing Lin Dongqing. Judging from his aura, Lin Dongqing, who had obviously advanced to a middle heavenly supreme, would take out divine artifacts or secret treasures from time to time during the battle to make up for the difference in strength. Under such circumstances, the two were still in a stalemate. If this stalemate continues, Lin Dongqing should be the winner. After all, he still has the trump card that Elder Su mentioned. As he watched the battle, Yi Shang's gaze never left Lin Dongqing's. At this moment, Dancing Woman said, "All right. I remember now. The person fighting with Lin Dongqing is called Zhu Ziyuan. He's a student 2 batches higher than us. He's the second person in that batch. As for the first person, he seems to be called Ling Shi. He has already entered the middle of that courtyard. Zhu Ziyuan. Judging from his talent, he should be about the same as Lin Dongqing. But today, I'm afraid he's going to die." After observing for a while, Knight Sorrow concluded. Because he used the sea serpent's eye to see that Lin Dongqing had been very relaxed during the battle. There was no smell of a life-and-death battle at all. On the other hand, Zhu Ziyuan had been in a state of desperation, but in this state, he was still relying on his strength and the sword in his hand. Obviously, he didn't have as many secret treasures as Lin Dongqing. Yes, I can also see that Zhu Ziyuan is weak. I didn't expect Lin Dongqing and the others to be able to defeat their students from the previous batch. Dancing Woman sighed. Even if Elder Su didn't remind them, they could see that Lin Dongqing's side would win. This was eyesight. The suspense now is whether Zhu Ziyuan can force Lin Dongqing to use his trump card. If we can see Lin Dongqing's trump card in advance, it will be much easier in the ancient ruins. Knight Sorrow frowned as he watched Lin Dongqing. At this moment, he suddenly felt a chill in his eyes. The sea serpent's eye had quietly evolved. Looking into the distance, the scene became even clearer. After the evolution, the sea serpent's eye should be able to see more than Wyra. Knight Sorrow turned to look at Swaying Woman. He found that the movements of Lin Dongqing and the others had become much slower in his eyes. Watch out, Lin Dongqing is about to use his trump card. He was forced into a corner by Zhu Ziyuan. Just as Knight Sorrow's eyes were evolving, Dancing Woman suddenly reminded him. This was because Zhu Ziyuan had suddenly unleashed his trump card, the Wind and Cloud Sky/Sword. For a moment, Lin Dongqing was suppressed to the point that he could not even raise his head. In this situation, Dancing Woman judged that Lin Dongqing would definitely unleash his final attack. Zhu Ziyuan, you're courting death. As expected. As soon as Swaying Woman finished speaking, Lin Dongqing was completely enraged. Then, he took out a horn from the space. After taking it out, Lin Dongqing immediately activated it and attacked Zhu Ziyuan. This is a half-step supreme stage divine artifact. By the time Zhu Ziyuan shouted, it was already too late to dodge. In the blink of an eye, it was blasted into ashes and annihilated. Lin Dongqing's trump card is actually a half-step supreme stage divine artifact. And he can unleash the power of the horn. This threat to us is too great. No wonder Elder Su warned us like that. Looks like we really have to avoid them. Knight Sorrow saw the scene of the horn killing the upper heavenly supreme Zhu Ziyuan, and immediately understood that Lin Dongqing's divine artifact was not something he and Swaying Woman could fight against. He sent a voice transmission to Swaying Woman. Let's go around and go to the ancient ruins first. Let's go. Okay. With this half-step supreme stage divine artifact, Lin Dongqing should be invincible in the battlefield of the Killer Heaven. We can only avoid him. Swaying Woman sighed and said, If only Senior Heaven Defying was here. Yes. If Senior Heaven Defying was here, we shouldn't be afraid of Lin Dongqing's half-step Supreme Stage Divine Artifact. But it's impossible for him to appear now. Let's go. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he prepared to retreat with Swaying Woman. Who's watching our battle? But right at this moment, Lin Dongqing suddenly looked over. It turned out that not only did his horn have outstanding attack power, but it was also very observant. Lin Dongqing found us. Enter my space grotto heaven and I'll take you away. He shouldn't be as fast as me. Hearing Lin Dongqing's roar, Night Sorrow immediately sent a voice transmission to Swaying Woman. He kept her in the space grotto heaven and flew straight in the direction of the space grotto heaven. You guys take care of these old students. I'll go after the night demon. With the horn's reminder, Lin Dongqing knew that the person watching the battle was Night Sorrow. He used the horn to attack the old students a few times and then chased after Night Sorrow. That horn seems to be very fast too. Night Sorrow, who was escaping, was very confident in his speed compared to Lin Dongqing's. But soon he realized that Lin Dongqing's horn was faster than him when he used the 9 steps of the Heaven Defying 33 Heavens Battle Mystic Technique. Armageddon. Under these circumstances, Night Sorrow let out a roar and activated his secret battle technique and heaven-destroying earth-extinguishing technique. He increased his speed. In an instant, Lin Dongqing and the horn were far apart. What? Night Demon, that little bastard, is actually so fast. After Night Sorrow activated his status and ran quickly, Lin Dongqing was immediately dumbfounded and urged, speed up and catch up. That little bastard in front killed my Lin family's people and has a very powerful secret treasure. He must die. Young master, it's not that I don't want to chase, it's that I can't. If I'm not wrong, he should be burning his bloodline power or using other secret techniques. This speed won't last long. When we reach the ancient ruins, he will definitely find a place to recuperate. When the time comes, I will find him. At this moment, the horn's artifact spirit replied. Night Sorrow's speed was too fast. Even he, a half-step paramount realm, could not catch up. However, he did not lose confidence in catching up. Hearing the horn's artifact spirit's analysis, Lin Dongqing nodded and said, yes. His goal is definitely the same as ours, the Supreme Heaven Origin Pill. Therefore, his destination will be the ancient ruins. Let's turn back and kill the flies from the previous batch first. Then we'll deal with this night demon. After saying that, Lin Dongqing brought the horn back and killed all of Zhu Ziyuan's people with the other students. After this battle, there were not many students from the previous batch left in Lin Dongqing's group. Other than Ling Shi, who had entered the middle courtyard, there were only a few injured people who did not rush over. When Lin Dongqing had killed all the students from the previous batch, Lin Dongqing had killed them all. Night Sorrow had already brought Swaying Woman and Su Lei into the ancient ruins. Chapter 32-44. As soon as he entered the ancient site recorded on the map, Night Sorrow smelled a strong smell of blood. This proved that there must have been a battle at the edge of the ancient site not long ago. The blood did not dissipate for a long time. Pasua, do you want to recover or come out with me? Night Sorrow checked and found that Su Lei's condition was not very good, but Pasua's condition seemed to be okay, so he asked. After all, everyone could come across an opportunity in this ancient site. If it was just for safety, they would not have come to such a place. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Pasua said, let me out. I'll fight alongside you. Okay. There should be many batches of students here. Among them, there are nearly 10 upper heavenly sovereigns. We have to be vigilant in case we get ambushed. As Night Sorrow moved forward, he used the sea serpent's eye to observe the surroundings. At the same time, he reminded Pasua. Pasua opened her vertical eye and said with a smile, with our eye techniques, we don't have to be afraid of their traps. You're confident. However, this place has been exposed for a long time. There shouldn't be many opportunities in the periphery. Let's go in too. After using the newly evolved sea serpent's eye to observe, Night Sorrow did not see anything valuable, so he prepared to continue walking in. Pasua, who had also observed for a while, nodded and said, the surrounding 10,000 miles have indeed been turned upside down. Let's continue going in. Yes, faster. After all, there's still Lin Dongqing behind us. That horn of his is very difficult to deal with. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he led the way in front. As for Pasua, she was slightly behind. This was to prevent the two of them from falling into the trap at the same time. After walking for about 100,000 miles, Night Sorrow's eyes lit up. He transmitted his voice to Pasua. Look at the underground in the southwest direction. What's there? Pasua heard the transmission and immediately looked in the direction that Night Sorrow had pointed out. She was surprised and said, according to the description on Elder Su's map, this is the Supreme Heaven Essence Pill. How could we find one so easily? That's great. Could it be fake or an illusion? It's not fake. How could a fake Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill deceive our eye techniques? Wait a moment. I'll bring it over. While Night Sorrow observed with the sea serpent's eye, he released his divine soul power to investigate the Sovereign Heaven Essence Pill in front of him. After confirming that the artifact was real, Zhang Xian immediately flew down to retrieve it. Isn't this a little too easy? Seeing that Night Sorrow had taken the Supreme Heaven Essence Pill without being attacked, Hassa woman didn't know what to say. It's indeed unexpected that things would go so smoothly. I think it's very likely that he has an advantage in finding treasures because he has an eye technique. Night Sorrow, who also felt that this matter was quite strange, spoke up and continued to search with Hassa. After flying for another 200,000 miles in the void, they found another Supreme Heaven Origin Pill. This Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill was the same as the previous one. It was also buried in the ground. Night Sorrow checked it and didn't find any danger. He looked at Hassa and said, "Go and get it. This is unbelievably smooth. Could it be that none of the students in front of us know eye techniques?" Hassa woman was using her vertical eye to observe the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill not far away. She felt that things were going so smoothly that it was like a dream. She hesitated and didn't immediately go to retrieve it. This artifact must be real. It's the same as the one in my hand. Even if it's dangerous, it's worth the risk. I'll go get it and give it to you. Night Sorrow was also someone who had experienced hundreds of battles. Naturally, he could figure out what was going on. However, he was very confident in his own strength at the moment. He felt that even an upper heavenly sovereign wouldn't be able to hurt him. Thus, he flew directly toward the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. Bastard! Why isn't Lin Dongqing the one who came? Isn't our plan going to be in vain? After Night Sorrow flew closer, an upper heavenly sovereign, who had used a secret treasure to hide near the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill, said unhappily. Including the first Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill, it was all planned by their group. The first Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill was to eliminate Lin Dongqing's vigilance, and the second Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill was a trap for Lin Dongqing. This trap relied on a one-time use superior grade concealment talisman. Even Night Sorrow and Hassa woman hadn't noticed any clues, let alone Lin Dongqing. However, at this moment, the person who had set up the trap didn't see Lin Dongqing, but Night Sorrow had come. Leader, what should we do? Go out and kill him? After the upper heavenly sovereign finished speaking, another cultivator immediately asked, "What are you talking about?" "Nonsense. Of course we have to kill him. However, we have to do it quickly. After all, according to the information, Lin Dongqing will be here soon. That bastard has a half-step to supreme-grade divine artifact. We can't fight him head-on." The upper heavenly sovereign who had spoken just now secretly cursed his bad luck as he gave the order. Something's not right. Hassa, get ready to fight or escape. After the group spoke, Night Sorrow immediately felt a slight fluctuation in the space. Although this fluctuation was weak, he still sensed it. He immediately warned Hassa woman. "I knew it. Things aren't that simple," Hassa woman said. Then, she summoned 1,000 illusion eyes in the void and started to prepare for the descent of all evil. She knew that her strength was at the bottom of the list in this ancient site. Therefore, she used her ultimate move. Indeed, they are not simple. Their concealment techniques can deceive our eye techniques. If they were scheming against others, the success rate would be higher. As Night Sorrow replied, he immediately activated the 33 Heaven Secret Combat Technique. His cultivation level was lower than Hassa woman's, so he couldn't be careless. "I didn't expect that an earthly sovereign like you would be so alert. However, all of this is in vain. You have affected my plan to kill Lin Dongqing. You must die. At this moment, 3 cultivators walked out from the void near the Sovereign Heaven primary pill. The black-robed male cultivator standing in the middle was an upper heavenly sovereign. The man and woman beside him were both middle heavenly sovereigns. Without giving Knight Sorrow a chance to speak, the upper heavenly sovereign thrust out his spear. His spear looked similar to an ordinary red tasseled spear, but it was very powerful. Knight Sorrow, who was brandishing his golden heavenly halberd to block the attack, immediately asked, "Who are you? Did you set up the Sovereign Heaven primary pill to kill Lin Dongqing?" "Lin Dongqing and I have an irreconcilable feud. I must kill him. You have ruined my chance, so it's useless to say anything else." "Dang!" Chao Mang, the upper heavenly sovereign, said coldly as he launched another attack on Yi Shang. Chapter 32:45. Let me give you a piece of advice. If you don't want Lin Dongqing to reap the benefits, you'd better stop now. He's chasing after me and will be here soon. Knight Sorrow said coldly as he struggled to defend against Chao Mang's attack. At this moment, he stopped Dancing Lady, who was about to unleash the descent of all evil. To him, these people were the enemy of his enemy. They didn't have to be killed. Naturally, he didn't want Lin Dongqing to benefit because of them. We know that Lin Dongqing will be here soon. But killing the two of you won't affect the overall situation. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Chao Mang didn't put Knight Sorrow and Dancing Lady in his eyes at all. He said coldly, "What are the two of you still standing there for? Kill the two of them immediately. Then plan how to deal with Lin Dongqing." "Yes." The female cultivator beside Chao Mang immediately attacked Dancing Lady. The other male cultivator cooperated with Chao Mang and attacked Knight Sorrow. He wanted to finish off Knight Sorrow quickly. "You idiots. If you can defeat Lin Dongqing, I'll write my name backwards." Based on Chao Mang's eyesight and state of mind, Knight Sorrow was sure that he was no match for Lin Dongqing. While replying with disdain, he activated Armageddon. While fighting Chao Mang and the others, he transmitted his voice to Dancing Lady. "With our strength, defeating Chao Mang and the others isn't difficult. But we definitely need time. That would definitely allow Lin Dongqing to reap the benefits. Let's fight them and leave immediately." "Alright." Chao Mang is really an idiot who doesn't know when to stop. Dancing Lady also felt that although Chao Mang's cultivation was high, he was definitely an idiot. It was clear that Knight Sorrow and Dancing Lady had a grudge against Lin Dongqing. Most people would choose to join forces with them to deal with Lin Dongqing. But Chao Mang chose to fight Knight Sorrow to the death when Lin Dongqing was about to arrive. This choice was the most disadvantageous to him. "You're an Earth Sovereign, but you talk big. Prepare to die." At this moment, Chao Mang, who was despised by Knight Sorrow, flew into a rage and said contemptuously. Then, he used his ultimate technique. Clear Sky White Sun Spear. This move was very beautiful, and its power was also very good. However, Knight Sorrow was also someone who was good at using guns. After observing it with the Sea Serpent's eye, he discovered a loophole. Using the strengthened Qing Xian Godly Spear technique to fight back in the state of Armageddon. As for the other male cultivators' attacks, they were all dodged by his 9 defiant steps. In a 1 versus 2 situation, not only did he neutralize Chao Mang's attack, but he also made all of the middle-level Heavenly Sovereign's attacks miss. I didn't expect this earthly sovereign to be so powerful. But since we've already started, there's no turning back. Kill. After Chao Mang discovered that Knight Sorrow's strength was not to be underestimated, he did not stop attacking. Instead, he ignited his bloodline power. He displayed an even more powerful ultimate skill. In the face of Chao Mang's attack, Chao Mang's Knight Sorrow, which could destroy heaven and earth, wasn't under much pressure. But according to his speculations, Lin Dongqing might have already arrived. Therefore, he didn't want to delay any longer. He sent a voice transmission to Hassa Lady. "This person is a fool. He will die in Lin Dongqing's hands sooner or later. Let's go. I have absolute confidence in escaping. Don't worry about me." After receiving Yi Shang's telepathic message, Dancing Woman replied. After advancing to a middle-level Heavenly Sovereign, her strength had increased significantly. Facing a middle-level Heavenly Sovereign female cultivator in front of her, She didn't feel much pressure at all. If she went all out, she even had the confidence to kill her. If she just wanted to leave, she could do it. Alright. Since you're so confident, let's go. Night Sorrow sent a voice transmission to Hassa Lady again. Then, he formed a dozen word seals and a divine origin trapping array to slow down Chao Mang and the other male cultivator. Then, he soared into the sky and flew into the distance. You want to leave? Where do you think you're going? Seeing that Night Sorrow was about to leave, Chao Mang, whose speed was restricted, immediately took out a pagoda-shaped divine artifact. He used it to shatter Night Sorrow's word seals and divine origin trapping array. Then he chased after them. Why is the aura of this pagoda so familiar? At this moment, Night Sorrow deliberately slowed down to let Hassa Lady catch up. Suddenly, he felt that the pagoda that Chao Mang took out was somewhat familiar. He immediately used the sea serpent's eye to look behind him. Before Night Sorrow could see anything, Xiaowu said in surprise. That pagoda. It's the 6th level of our eternal divine tower. I heard that it was in a city. I didn't expect it to appear in this person's hands. What? This pagoda is actually the 6th level of the eternal divine tower. That's great. This is really a case of traveling far and wide in search of something, only to find it by chance. Hearing this, Night Sorrow immediately stopped in his tracks. He looked at Hassa Lady and said, I suddenly have a reason to fight. You can enter my heavenly abode. In case Lin Dongqing appears and attacks you. No need. Trust me, I can protect myself. Hassa Lady didn't ask why Night Sorrow suddenly wanted to fight, but she stood beside him and didn't retreat. Night Sorrow looked sideways and said, Thank you. At this moment, he took another look at Hassa Lady. Night Sorrow. In this battle, if you can obtain and purify Xiaowu, our 5th, 6th, 7th, and 9th levels can be promoted to half-step to Supreme Realm. You are worth a try. Little Seven transmitted his voice. Then all the more I have to take the risk. Hearing this, Night Sorrow's body suddenly erupted with a strong fighting spirit. Holding the golden heavenly halberd in his hand, he directly attacked Chao Mang. I didn't expect you to actually turn back. But this is good. I'll take care of you and Lin Dongqing. Chao Mang didn't expect Night Sorrow to turn back and was caught off guard. However, he was an upper heavenly supreme after all, and he wasn't instantly defeated by such an attack. However, the female cultivator beside Chao Mang wasn't so lucky. She was directly hit by Hassa Lady's all-evil descends. She was instantly entangled with misfortune, and the battle became extremely awkward. Well done, Hassa. Hassa Lady had used all-evil descends to attack the female cultivator, causing her to lose half of her fighting strength. Night Sorrow praised her, then turned to the male cultivator beside Chao Mang and launched his most violent attack. This time, the middle heavenly supreme male cultivator was no longer ignored, but he immediately realized how strong Night Sorrow was. In less than 10 breaths, his dantian was pierced. He was so frightened that he quickly crushed a secret treasure and used its characteristics to disappear on the spot. I'll give you a chance. Hand over the pagoda in your hand, and I'll let you live. Night Sorrow looked at Chao Mang and said after Chao Mang's left and right arms had been dealt with one after another. According to his judgment, Lin Dongqing could arrive at any time, and he didn't want to waste too much time. You want me to surrender? Dream on. I'll drag it out until Lin Dongqing arrives and make you suffer. At this moment, Chao Mang, whose left and right arms had been crippled, roared crazily. Chapter 32-46. Die! Just as Chao Mang's voice fell, Dancing Woman suddenly shouted and shattered the female cultivator's dantian. This female cultivator was different from the male cultivator who had just escaped. She didn't have any life-saving methods. With her dantian shattered, Dancing Woman shattered her soul. She was completely killed. Whinnying. Seeing the female cultivator killed, the veins on Chao Mang's face bulged. He looked much more ferocious. With a gloomy face, he looked at Night Sorrow and Dancing Woman with a venomous gaze. He roared resentfully, Today, even if I have to self-destruct, I, Chao Mang, will make you accompany whinnying in death. Then, as if he had gone mad, he attacked Dancing Woman. But Night Sorrow was right beside him. How could he let him have his way? When Chao Mang attacked Dancing Woman, He used the 12 words of truth to slow down Chow Mang. This 100 words of truth is really powerful. Dancing Woman praised when she saw Night Sorrow use the 100 words of truth to slow down Chow Mang's speed. Then, she used the 1,000 illusion net. Chow Mang was trapped in the center of the net. She captured him so easily? Seeing Dancing Woman's 1,000 illusion net trap Chow Mang, Night Sorrow suddenly felt that Chow Mang might be playing tricks. He transmitted his voice to Dancing Woman, reminding her not to be careless. He flew to the ground and kept the Sovereign Heaven Origin pills that he hadn't taken out into his spatial artifact. While he was collecting the Sovereign Heaven Origin pills, Chow Mang roared crazily, but he still didn't fight for the 1,000 illusion net's restraint. Dancing Woman, you take care of Lin Dongqing. I'll deal with Chow Mang. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow transmitted his voice to Dancing Woman. Then, he held the golden heavenly halberd and shot a godly spear at Chow Mang. According to his judgment, Chow Mang was pretending to be restrained and was preparing a big move in the center of the 1,000 illusion net. Therefore, Night Sorrow didn't manage to close the distance between them. At the same time, Night Sorrow summoned Little 5, Little 7, Little 8, and Little 9. They fought against the 6th level of the Eternal Divine Tower in the void. He was prepared to let them directly subdue the 6th level. This was also a move to buy time. After all, Lin Dongqing could appear at any time. Boom! Just as Night Sorrow's godly shot was about to hit Chow Mang's eyes lit up. Chow Mang's body suddenly erupted with a shocking red light, blocking the attack of the god's spear. As for his entire person, after bathing in the red light, his aura rose by a lot. At this time, he looked coldly at the whirling woman and said, "Multi-eyed monster, I really have to thank you for giving me the chance to hibernate. You gave me enough time to use my strongest bloodline skill. Descent of all evils." Being called the multi-eyed monster, Dancing Woman was immediately enraged. She gathered her aura and used the descent of all evil again. After using this move, she seemed to be a little weak. Facing the descending Chow Mang, he simply did not place this move in his eyes. Using his left fist, he blasted out a beam of blood-red light and forcefully dispersed the descent of all evil. How is this possible? This was the first time that the descent of all evil had been broken apart, which surprised Dancing Woman. "Quick! Enter my space grotto heaven." At this time, Night Sorrow suddenly shouted, because he saw that Lin Dongqing had already appeared in the distance with his people. In addition to Lin Dongqing, there were 6 other cultivators. With such a lineup and the one-horned man, the threat was too great. Night Sorrow was not sure if he and the ancient coffin could stop them, so he prepared to leave immediately. Okay. After Night Sorrow's reminder, the whirling woman, who was not in a good state, immediately entered his space grotto heaven. "Night Sorrow. Although we can suppress it, we can't take it back. We still need you to purify it." At this time, Little 7 suddenly reminded him. After the 4th floor took action, they quickly suppressed the 6th floor, but they did not have the means to purify it. "It seems that things are getting complicated. We can't leave directly." After receiving Little 7's voice transmission, Night Sorrow thought for a moment. Without hesitation, he took out the ancient coffin and threw it at Chow Mang. At the same time, he summoned the power of merit to purify the suppressed 6th floor of the Eternal Divine Tower. This process was completed very quickly. However, when Night Sorrow obtained the 6th floor, Lin Dongqing had already arrived with his people. They surrounded him and Chow Mang. Phew! That went well. It's good that we got it. Although they were surrounded, Night Sorrow, who obtained the 6th floor of the Eternal Divine Tower, finally heaved a sigh of relief. He began to think about how to escape unscathed. Lin Dongqing, who saw that it was Night Sorrow and Chow Mang fighting, laughed and said, "I was still wondering who it was. So it's the 2 of you fighting each other. Nice, very nice. You guys continue to fight. I'll spare the life of whoever wins." "Who do you think you are? Do you think I, the Night Demon, need you to spare my life?" Night Sorrow took back the ancient coffin that he had thrown at Chow Mang. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to Little 7. "Little 7, think of a way to combine a half-step paramount divine weapon." "Don't worry. A half-step paramount divine weapon will be produced soon. I guarantee that its power won't be inferior to Lin Dongqing's horn. You just need to delay it for 20 breaths." Little Seven replied. 20 breaths? That's easy. Night Sorrow secretly replied. At this moment, Chao Mang saw Lin Dongqing arrive. He glanced at Lin Dongqing and then at Night Sorrow. His eyes flashed with a cold, resentful light. After pondering for a moment, he roared in a low voice, "All of you die!" He chose to self-destruct on the spot. Brute! Night Sorrow, who had wanted to use Chao Mang to buy some time, immediately used the defiant 9 steps to dodge. With the help of the Divine Essence Trap Array, he was basically unharmed. As for Lin Dongqing and the others, they were far away and were even less affected. After the aftermath of Chao Mang's self-destruction passed, Lin Dongqing sneered at Night Sorrow and said, "This Chao Mang originally had a grudge with me, but I didn't expect to trap you here. You did me a big favor. Quickly hand over the divine weapon you just used. I can spare your life." Lin Dongqing, don't say such nonsense in front of me. Isn't your horn very powerful? Come, attack me and try it. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Dongqing and the others fearlessly. At the same time, he took out the ancient coffin and let it float in front of him. The moment the dark aura appeared, Lin Dongqing and the others looked askance. Lin Dongqing asked the horn's weapon spirit, "What is that ancient coffin in front of us? Why is its aura so terrifying?" "I'm not sure, but its grade shouldn't be inferior to mine." The horn's weapon spirit replied and continued, "Although it's not inferior to mine, he might not be able to control it. We'll strike first and gain the upper hand." "Alright, let's kill him directly." After the horn's weapon spirit finished speaking, Lin Dongqing activated the horn and controlled it to shoot out a dark ray of light. It shot toward Night Sorrow. This was a true half-step paramount state attack. Chapter 3247. The attack of a half-step to the paramount realm is indeed very strong. Facing Du Jiao's attack, Night Sorrow placed the ancient coffin in front of him, preparing to block this attack. According to his judgment, the ancient coffin could withstand an attack of this level. Therefore, he didn't take it seriously. He was prepared to block it for a while and take the opportunity to break through the encirclement and escape. After all, he could withstand the attack of a half-step to the paramount realm, but some of the cultivators Lin Dongqing brought couldn't. But at this moment, Little Five suddenly transmitted a voice transmission. "Put away the ancient coffin. Dolua Continent Comics / Let us block this move." You guys finished combining so quickly? Didn't you say you needed 20 breaths? Night Sorrow asked doubtfully. At the same time, he released the completed Eternal Divine Tower. At this moment, the Eternal Divine Tower had already completed 5/9 of the combination. Hearing Night Sorrow's question, Little Five replied, "We didn't expect that after not seeing each other for so many years, the fusion would still be so smooth. Watch us block his attack." As he spoke, the Eternal Divine Tower flew in front of Night Sorrow. It forcibly blocked Du Jiao's attack. Is that so? The power is not bad, right? All along, the Eternal Divine Tower had been a bystander by Night Sorrow's side. At this moment, it could finally play a big role in the battle. Little Seven asked proudly. He had a feeling of exultation and elation. Humph. Little Seven, what's there to be proud of? Have you forgotten what kind of existence we were at our peak? Little Eight said disdainfully when he heard Little Seven's bragging. At its peak, the Eternal Divine Tower was the first paramount realm divine artifact in the Eternal Supreme Realm. However, it had declined for too many years now. In fact, many people didn't even know of its existence. Hearing this, Night Sorrow smiled and said, "Don't worry, one day, I will let you guys regain your glory." After confirming that the Eternal Divine Tower could block Du Jiao's attack, he wasn't in a hurry to escape. Because Lin Dongqing and his subordinates shouldn't be able to hurt him at all. This night demon really has a lot of good things in his hands. Today we must kill him at all costs. Seeing Night Sorrow use the Eternal Divine Tower to block Du Jiao's attack, Lin Dongqing roared with envy. Yes, we will do our best to cooperate. Everyone who had been blown away by the shockwave received the order and immediately surrounded Night Sorrow again. Of course, this was because Night Sorrow did not use the 9 defiant steps to escape. Otherwise, they would not have been able to stop him. Attack! Seeing that Night Sorrow was the leader, Lin Dongqing immediately ordered. At the same time, he let the horn float above his head, allowing it to recover its vitality. Du Jiao had attacked too many times recently and had consumed too much energy. He needed several dozen breaths of time to recover. While recovering, Ikaku reminded them, the Night Demon's 2 divine artifacts don't have any active attacking aura. You should be able to defeat them. Good. We will try our best to use melee attacks. Lin Dongqing replied to Night Sorrow. Then, he ordered everyone to use melee attacks and surround Night Sorrow. He knew that using those fancy techniques would not have any effect on the ancient coffin and the eternal divine tower. It was better to use melee attacks directly. He did not continue to use the horn. He wants to use melee attacks to deal with me. Seeing the horn floating above Lin Dongqing's head, he did not continue to attack. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, Little Five, can you guys prepare an attack? If you can muster up a half-step to the Paramount Realm attack, I want to directly kill Lin Dongqing. We can, but it will take time. After Little Five replied, he analyzed and added, It will take about 30 breaths. Can you hold on? 30 breaths. Should be enough. If it doesn't work, I can still use the ancient coffin or fight while retreating. After Night Sorrow finished speaking to Little Five, he activated the Treastrimsa Battle Mystic Technique and the Destruction of Heaven and Earth. He also activated the Blue Phoenix Battle Armor. Apart from the power of good karma, he raised all his stats to the maximum. He started to fight with Lin Dongqing and the other students of the same batch. Lin Dongqing's strength was not bad. He had just become a Middle Heavenly Supreme, but he already had the strength of an Upper Heavenly Supreme. He was not easy to deal with. Under his lead, everyone quickly suppressed Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow used the 100 Words mantra and the Defiant 9 Steps to deal with him. He was fighting while retreating, mainly relying on his defense to buy time. After persisting like this for about 20 breaths of time, Night Sorrow asked, Little Five, how are your preparations? It's about the same as expected. Another 10 breaths will be enough. Little Five knew that Night Sorrow could not hold on any longer, so he replied without hesitation. Another 10 breaths. Let's end these 10 breaths with the attack. Everyone, including Little Five, thought that Night Sorrow would continue to use his speed to buy time. At this moment, Night Sorrow went against the flow. He chose to use the mysterious Azure Divine Spear technique, and took the initiative to attack one of the Middle Heavenly Sovereigns. Oh no! He was hiding his strength. Be careful! Seeing Night Sorrow's sudden attack, Lin Dongqing shouted a warning. At the same time, he used a long frost sword in his hand to stab at Night Sorrow's dantian. He wanted to use it to save Night Sorrow's dantian. However, when the tip of the sword pierced through Night Sorrow's body, Lin Dongqing suddenly realized that what he had stabbed was only an afterimage left in the void. Night Sorrow's golden heavenly halberd had directly pierced through the dantian of one of the cultivators. After being crippled by the spear, the cultivator immediately let out an unwilling cry. Brother Lin, save me, save me! I didn't expect that at this moment, the divine talisman refined by the Dragon Sparrow King would work. I wonder how Dragon Sparrow and Phoenix are doing now. Before the attack, Night Sorrow, who had used the Dragon Sparrow King's divine talisman, was slightly emotional. The Dragon Sparrow King's divine talisman had increased his speed by 3 times even though he was at his limit. Compared to some of the cultivators present, his movement technique was simply like a ghost. After that, other than Lin Dongqing who used a secret technique to increase his speed, he could barely keep up with Night Sorrow's rhythm. The others could not find Night Sorrow's real body at all under such rapid attacks. In 10 breaths of time, Night Sorrow had killed 3 of Lin Dongqing's subordinates and severely injured 2. In the blink of an eye, the situation had completely reversed. I've recovered. If we launch a sneak attack at close range, he shouldn't be able to react. As long as the ancient coffin or ancient pagoda doesn't move, I'm confident that I can kill him directly. However, at this moment, the horn floating above Lin Dongqing's head suddenly transmitted a message to him. It indicated that it had recovered and could attack at any time. Good. Very good. We'll immediately look for an opportunity. I didn't expect this night demon to have such strength. If we let him continue to develop, the consequences would be unimaginable. Today we must kill him. Lin Dongqing heard the voice transmission from the horn and said word by word. Chapter 3248. Don't worry. No matter how strong the divine artifact is, he's still a child with a treasured sword. It's easy to catch his weakness. The horn's artifact spirit replied to Lin Dongqing and began to search for Night Sorrow's weakness. Lin Dongqing, on the other hand, burned his bloodline power and consumed a pill that temporarily increased his strength and speed. He began to fight against Night Sorrow. During the battle, he realized that although Night Sorrow was only a half-step Sky Supreme, he was not weaker than him in any aspect. This made him question the one-horned child's words. Be careful. That horn seems to have recovered. After Night Sorrow killed another one of Lin Dongqing's subordinates, the restriction-breaking hammer suddenly reminded him. They could feel that the horn had recovered and was preparing to attack. I know. After a while, I'll purposely reveal a weakness and let the horn attack. Then use the ancient coffin to block it. As for the Eternal Divine Tower, it will directly attack Lin Dongqing and kill him. Night Sorrow transmitted his voice to the restriction-breaking hammer and asked, Little Five, how much longer do you need? 5 breaths. Little Five answered without hesitation. The answer was very precise. I'll reveal a weakness in 5 breaths and let the horn attack. You guys calculate the time. Night Sorrow said and continued to fight against Lin Dongqing. With the help of the Dragon Sparrow Divine Talisman, his speed was extremely fast. Lin Dongqing could barely keep up. At this time, Night Sorrow sent a dozen more talisman combinations to slow down Lin Dongqing's speed. For a moment, Lin Dongqing's movements became abnormally slow. In this state, Night Sorrow naturally had no problem dragging on for 5 breaths. Once the 5 breaths were up, Night Sorrow immediately used the Divine Essence Trap Array and the Divine Spear on Lin Dongqing. He had exposed himself to the horn. Good chance. I'm going to attack. Seeing that Night Sorrow had completely exposed himself to him, the horn's artifact spirit transmitted his voice to Lin Dongqing and directly attacked Night Sorrow. You're going to die. Looks like our battle can't be carried out normally. Meanwhile, Lin Dongqing was looking at Yishan with a grim smile on his face. In his eyes, Night Sorrow was already a dead man. You're half right. One of us is going to die, so the battle can't proceed as planned. Looking at the wildly laughing Lin Dongqing, Night Sorrow immediately took out the ancient coffin to block Du Jiao's attack. As for the Eternal Divine Tower, it launched a vicious attack at Lin Dongqing at close range. This attack was a genuine attack from someone who was half a step to the limitless realm. Lin Dongqing, who did not have a half-step Supreme Stage defensive divine artifact, was immediately reduced to ashes. Even the horn that was blocked by the ancient coffin once again was blasted to smithereens. It was as if he was about to drop out of the half-step Supreme Realm. Amazing! I didn't expect you to be able to kill Lin Dongqing and the others. Dancing Lady, who was watching the battle in Night Sorrow's space, immediately praised when she saw that Night Sorrow had completed his counterattack. Today's victory was due to luck. If not for our good luck and obtaining the 6th level of the Eternal Divine Tower, we would have been forced to flee. Night Sorrow said humbly, then continued, Now that we have 2 Sovereign Heaven Origin pills, why don't we find a place to consume them first and then come out to fight for them? This way, we have a better chance. What do you think? Hearing this, Su Lei, who was recovering, said, I'm still recovering. You and Dancing Lady should consume them first. If you can become a heavenly sovereign here, I believe you can definitely defeat everyone. In my opinion, it won't be as easy for you to become a heavenly sovereign. 1 Sovereign Heaven Origin pill is definitely not enough. You should consume both of them. Whirling Woman said slowly. In her opinion, a half-step heavenly sovereign like Night Sorrow could fight against an upper heavenly sovereign. If he wanted to advance, it would definitely be many times more difficult than ordinary cultivators. 1 Sovereign Heaven Origin pill was definitely not enough. I'll try consuming one first. After Dancing Lady finished speaking, Night Sorrow found a quiet place and set up a concealment array. He then summoned Dancing Lady to be on guard. He then took out 1 Sovereign Heaven Origin pill and consumed it. How do you feel? Is there no effect at all? After Night Sorrow consumed the Sovereign Heaven Origin pill, he did not have any reaction after about 10 breaths. Dancing Lady asked doubtfully. It's effective. But according to my judgment, if I want to become a heavenly sovereign directly, I need at least 10 of these Sovereign Heaven Origin pills. Night Sorrow said, then took out another Sovereign Heaven Origin pill and handed it to Dancing Lady. He said, "You should consume this one first. This is our best choice." Alright. Your body is really a bottomless pit. But it's okay, we'll continue to search in the ancient ruins. Dancing Lady was not a conflicted person. She took the Sovereign Heaven Origin pill and consumed it immediately. Not long after, her aura began to grow rapidly. Finally, she successfully became an upper heavenly sovereign. After successfully passing the tribulation, Dancing Lady looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Although I have become an upper heavenly sovereign, there is a limit to my strength. I still need time to strengthen." You have reached the realm. You can slowly polish it or absorb resources to improve it. Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to observe Dancing Lady, then said, "No matter what, you are already one step ahead of most people. The level of upper heavenly sovereign is not something that ordinary people can reach. Yes. Above upper heavenly sovereign, there are only half step to supreme realm and supreme realm. You are already an expert among experts." Su Lei congratulated Lady Hassa. Now that she was only a lower heavenly sovereign, she was very envious of Dancing Lady. "Thank you for taking care of me. In the future, we will continue to work together and break through to half step to supreme realm and supreme realm together," Dancing Lady said in a good mood. After becoming an upper heavenly sovereign, there were not many cultivators in the world who were higher than her. No matter what, she was very happy. Alright. Let's break through to the realm you mentioned. Night Sorrow looked at Dancing Lady and found that she did not have the aptitude to break through to supreme realm, but he did not say anything to undermine her confidence. Then he said to Su Lei, "The next Sovereign Heaven Origin pill that we find will be given to you. You can consume it directly, or like Dancing Lady, you can consume it after you become a middle heavenly sovereign." I did not do anything. I am not qualified to get the Sovereign Heaven Origin pill so early. If you get it, you can consume it. When you have successfully advanced, it will not be too late for me to take it. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Su Lei shook her head and objected. Alright. Let's talk about it after we get it. Night Sorrow saw Su Lei's objection and did not say anything more. Then, he brought the two ladies into the Eternal Divine Tower to recover. When they had almost recovered, Little Five suddenly sent a message to Night Sorrow. "Night Sorrow, can you give us the horn?" "Oh? What do you need the horn for?" Night Sorrow asked curiously. Chapter 32:49. Encountering Jielin. Yes. The horn is very useful to us. After Xiaowu answered, he explained, "Although we have recovered to the level of a half step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact, if we want to continuously attack at the level of a half step to the Supreme Realm, we need a lot of resources. If we have this horn, we can attack many times at the level of a half step to the Supreme Realm in the future." "I see. Then take it out." When Night Sorrow heard Xiaowu's words, he did not hesitate and threw the horn out for them to absorb. Don't you think it's a pity that a half step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact is being absorbed like a resource? Seeing Yi Shang throw the horn away, Dancing Woman felt that it was a waste of God's gift. Sacrificing a horn is equivalent to gaining the protection of a half step to the Supreme Realm Expert. In this way, we will have the ability to survive in the ancient ruins. It's quite suitable. Night Sorrow analyzed, then said, "However, if I get another half step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact in the future, I will leave it to you and Su Lei." "That's not what I meant. Every half step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact is extremely precious. I can't take it." Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Dancing Lady was a little embarrassed. "It's okay. We are friends and have good things to share," Night Sorrow said indifferently. He really did not care much about divine artifacts. At this time Su Lei asked, "Now that we have recovered, should we go out?" "It's good to go out now. However, on the list provided by Elder Su, there are 3 people worth paying attention to. I think the 3 of them are probably from the middle of the courtyard. Their methods should be very powerful, so we have to be careful." After leaving the Eternal Divine Tower, Night Sorrow looked at the list provided by Elder Su again. He found that the 3 of them were probably from the middle of the courtyard that Dancing Lady had mentioned. He felt that he should pay special attention to them. He reminded the 2 of them to be careful, but he was still very interested in them. After all, The three of them could be suitable targets for possession. Fairy Lin, Meng He, Zhu Qingxian. These three are all upper heavenly sovereigns and have never lost in a battle of the same level. They are probably from the middle of the courtyard. If we encounter them, we have to be careful. Dancing Woman took the list from Elder Su and said in agreement after reading it. Even Lin Dongqing was able to take out a half-step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact. Who knew what the geniuses of the central courtyard would be able to take out? The three of them had to be on guard. Why is there a sea in front of us? As soon as Dancing Woman finished speaking, Su Lei pointed to the front in confusion. Following her finger, Night Sorrow looked with a sea serpent's eye and saw a boundless sea. What's going on? We didn't see any ocean just now. Night Sorrow said doubtfully. Whirling Woman frowned and said, Are we in an illusion again? That should be the case. It seems like there are illusions in the ancient ruins too. Su Lei said with a frown. She felt that the ocean in front of her made her very uncomfortable, and her expression immediately became very bad. Su Lei, are you all right? Night Sorrow turned his head to look at Su Lei. Seeing that her complexion was very pale, he asked with concern. I don't know either. I can't seem to stand steadily in front of this ocean. It's like he's being suppressed by something. Su Lei said in detail. At this moment, Night Sorrow looked at Whirling Woman and said, Whirling Woman, do you have that feeling? No, I don't. Whirling Woman shook her head and denied it. While she used her eye technique to look at the ocean, she did not see anything. There's a huge black shadow in the ocean. It must have come with ill intentions. Everyone be careful. Night Sorrow, who had opened the sea serpent's eye and looked at the ocean, found a huge black shadow in the ocean. It seemed to have scales, and its body was very long. It looked a little like a dragon, but it was not. You can actually see me. Your eye technique is not bad. Your eyes are mine now. As soon as Night Sorrow finished speaking, a huge wave rose in the ocean. On top of the wave stood a slim female cultivator. How arrogant! After the female cultivator finished speaking, Whirling Woman ridiculed her. However, she soon discovered that the other party was an upper heavenly supreme, and her aura was very powerful. At this moment, Night Sorrow put Su Lei, who was feeling even more uncomfortable, into the space cave. Then, he looked at the female cultivator in front of him and said, You are the black shadow in the ocean, right? I told you, your eye technique is very powerful. Hearing this, the black-robed female cultivator smiled and said, Dig out your eyeballs and give them to me, and I will let you live. How arrogant! Before Night Sorrow could speak, Whirling Woman sneered and said, Come on. Let's see if you can get the eyeballs, or we can get the leather belt. You dare to provoke me, Jia Lin, repeatedly? Do you think you are so great just because you are an upper heavenly supreme? Jia Lin, who had been scolded by Whirling Woman, looked at her coldly and waved his hand to hit her. You are stronger than me, but you are not qualified to defeat me with one hit. Originally, Yi Shang had wanted to help, but Lady Whirling Sua had used the secret art of the vertical eye. She really caught it. I didn't expect a native like you to have some talent. After being blocked by Whirling Woman, Jia Lin said expressionlessly before smiling and saying, That vertical eye of yours is not bad either. It's also mine. With your eyeballs, this trip to the ancient site. Don't talk nonsense, you can talk about it after you defeat us. If I am not wrong, you are the Fairy Lin that others have been talking about, right? Night Sorrow looked at Jia Lin, and as he spoke, he started to use the Treastrimsa battle technique and the art of destruction. He also held the golden heavenly halberd in his hand and prepared for battle. At this moment, Su Lei, who was in the space paradise, reminded him, Jia Lin is the same as you Jia, they are both legendary existences. Although she is not a pure-blood Jia Lin, her bloodline talent is much stronger than mine. She should be very strong, you have to be careful. Okay. I will be careful. Night Sorrow replied as he continued to look at Jia Lin, waiting for her to make the first move. At this moment, Jia Lin laughed and said, Fairy Lin? I don't like that name. I prefer to be called the Scaled Witch. Soon you will know why. As soon as she finished speaking, she shot out thousands of black scales at Night Sorrow and Whirling Woman. Every scale shone with powerful runes. When she got close to Night Sorrow and Whirling Woman, these scales would shoot out extremely powerful attacks. In an instant, Night Sorrow and Whirling Woman were having a hard time resisting. As expected of someone from the middle court, you are indeed very strong. Jie Lin's attack was between an upper heavenly supreme and a half-step to the extreme realm. It was very strong, Night Sorrow could resist it, but Whirling Woman was having a hard time. Yi Shang exclaimed in admiration. Then, he put Dancing Woman into his space grotto heaven and fought Jie Lin alone. Chapter 3250. I didn't expect that even though I've become an upper heavenly supreme, I still can't hold my own in Lu Tian Academy. Dancing Lady, who had been summoned into the space cave, looked at Su Lei and said unwillingly. Hearing this, Su Lei comforted her. Don't worry. You've just become an upper heavenly supreme, so you're naturally weaker than Jie Lin. Slowly accumulate, and you may not lose to him in the future. Look, I'm suppressed by his bloodline, but I don't feel despair. If I follow Night Sorrow, I may be able to catch up. But this makes me very uneasy. I don't know what to do. Dancing Lady sighed. She wasn't willing to submit, but her future would be limited if she relied on herself. At this moment, Su Lei persuaded her. Your ability is limited. It may not be a bad choice to rely on the strong. I've already chosen to submit to him. I hope you can also consider it. Let me think about it. Dancing Lady replied, then watched the battle between Night Sorrow and Jie Lin. At this moment, Night Sorrow was slightly at a disadvantage in his battle with Jie Lin. But his defense was impenetrable, and he wasn't injured. After fighting for a few breaths, Jie Lin said with interest, I thought you were only an Earth Supreme, but I didn't expect you to be so strong as well. You're really a talent. How about this? I'll give you a chance to submit. As long as you submit to me and cooperate with me in exploring the ancient ruins, I won't gouge out your eyes. Sorry. I'm used to being idle, and I'm not under much control. But there's a solution to this. Night Sorrow looked at Jie Lin, who was panting, and smiled. Why don't you submit to me, and I'll naturally bring you to explore the ancient ruins and find opportunities. Bastard. I'm giving you face, but you don't want it. Who do you think you are? How dare you talk to me like this? Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Jie Lin was immediately furious. Then who do you think you are? Talking to me like this? Night Sorrow replied coldly. I'm someone who can kill you. Jie Lin, who was already enraged, roared and once again used his scales to attack Yi Sorrow. This time, after the scales flew out, they all turned into beetles and scaled insects. Tens of thousands of beetles and scaled worms appeared and immediately attacked Night Sorrow. This must be Jie Lin's bloodline ability. Night Sorrow frowned when he saw the thousands of beetles and scaled insects charging at him. He then cast the secret word of truth to slow them down. At the same time, he shot out his Inferno Devil-subduing spear and used the flames in the sky to burn everything. When the flames in the sky had some effect, he used Soft Dragon Roar, bombarding the beetles and scaled insects in the sky. After suffering 2 consecutive attacks, almost half of the beetles and scaled insects that Jie Lin had summoned had died. However, the remaining ones became even crazier under Jie Lin's control. Although Night Sorrow did not have a hard time dealing with the beetles and scaled worms that filled the sky and attacked him, his god's domain was not damaged. But soon, he discovered that Jie Lin had summoned another batch of beetles and scaled insects. So it can continue to summon. No wonder it couldn't stop my attack just now. Night Sorrow immediately understood what was going on when he noticed that Jie Lin had once again summoned a large number of beetles and scaled insects. He attacked these things again. After killing 3 or 4 batches, Night Sorrow discovered that Jie Lin's presence had not decreased at all. He completely understood that Jie Lin's bloodline ability could summon these things endlessly to exhaust the opponent. He immediately sent a message to Little Five. Little Five, after absorbing the power of the horn, did you manage to form a half-step Paramount Realm attack? According to Night Sorrow's judgment, Jie Lin clearly still had energy left. It would be very difficult to kill him. Yes. But the energy absorbed is only enough for 1 attack. According to my judgment, Jie Lin should also have a half-step Paramount Realm Divine artifact. 1 attack might not be able to kill him. Little Five quickly reported to Night Sorrow. I know. She must have something to rely on for her to be so arrogant. But since the battle has started, We cannot be the ones to retreat. Even if we can't kill her in one attack, we must injure her severely. Night Sorrow said and then said murderously, "Get ready, we will teach her a lesson she will remember. Don't worry, we can use this attack at any time." As Little Five replied, she was already prepared to attack. "Very good. When I create the Divine Essence Trap Array, I will summon you. Once you are summoned, attack immediately." At this moment, Night Sorrow, who was still killing beetles and scale bugs, used the sea serpent's eye to observe Jielin's movements and lock onto his true body. Then, he suddenly created the Divine Essence Trap Array. After the Eternal Divine Tower was summoned, it immediately attacked the trapped Jielin with a half-step Paramount Realm attack. The attack contained a heaven-shaking, earth-shattering power. What? It's an attack from a half-step Paramount Realm Divine Artifact. Jielin, who was originally full of confidence and using beetles and scale bugs to devour Night Sorrow, was shocked. In a situation where she could not dodge, she immediately took out her half-step Paramount Realm Divine Artifact, the Heaven-Suppressing Lock. She used it to block the Eternal Divine Tower's attack. Although the Heaven-Suppressing Lock was a half-step Paramount Realm Divine Artifact, in a hurry, it naturally did not have the ability to block the Eternal Divine Tower's full attack. Jielin was directly sent flying. The beetles and scaled insects that Jielin had summoned all vanished into thin air. Oh! Hit by a half-step Paramount Realm attack and not seriously injured. This strength is indeed not to be underestimated. Night Sorrow, who was observing the other party with the sea serpent's eye, discovered that Jielin was completely unharmed after being hit and was stunned. From this attack, he determined that this Jielin's strength was already infinitely close to half-step Paramount Realm and was not easy to deal with. Bastard! How dare you use a half-step Paramount Realm Divine Artifact to attack me? Do you think that only you have a half-step Paramount Realm Divine Artifact? After being blasted far away, Jielin, who was once again suspended in the void, her expression became completely gloomy. Her previous ease was gone, replaced by thick killing intent. She sized up Night Sorrow and did not say anything. She directly summoned the slightly damaged Heaven-Suppressing Lock and smashed it at Night Sorrow. She probably doesn't know how to use the divine artifact in front of her. In other words, she did not completely make it recognize her as its master and we have a chance to snatch it. Seeing that Jielin actually smashed the Heaven-Suppressing Lock over, Little Seven immediately spoke. This half-step Paramount Realm Divine Artifact can be snatched by force? Facing the Heaven-Suppressing Lock, Night Sorrow did not panic. As he asked, he took out the ancient coffin from the space. He used the ancient coffin to block this attack. Because if he used the Eternal Divine Tower to block this attack, the Eternal Divine Tower would definitely be damaged. And ever since the ancient coffin appeared, it had never broken through its defenses. Using a broken coffin to block my Heaven-Suppressing Lock? You're dead meat. Jielin, who saw Night Sorrow summon the ancient coffin, had a look of disdain. Chapter 3251. Knowledge is a good thing. It's a pity you don't have it. Night Sorrow did not move in the face of Jielin's provocation. At the same time, Jielin's Heaven-Suppressing Lock hit the coffin's defensive layer. After being hit by the Heaven-Suppressing Lock, the coffin's defensive layer was immediately damaged. However, in the end, the Heaven-Suppressing Lock did not completely break through the coffin's defense. What kind of treasure is this? Its defense is so strong. Seeing that the Heaven-Suppressing Lock's full power attack could not even break through the coffin's defense, Jielin was shocked. He looked at Night Sorrow in a completely different way. Because the Heaven-Suppressing Lock was her strongest divine weapon. Other than that, it could not unleash a stronger attack. For a moment, Jielin was already stunned by the coffin. He could not think of any attack that could hurt it. At this moment, Night Sorrow was also shocked. He did not expect Jielin's Heaven-Suppressing Lock to be able to damage the coffin's defensive layer to this extent. He thought to himself, I did not expect Jielin's divine weapon to be so powerful. I wonder if the coffin can withstand a few more attacks before it collapses. No. According to our senses, the coffin's damage this time should not be because of Jielin's divine weapon. It is because the coffin is about to be born. At this moment, the male hammer of the restriction-breaking hammer said to Night Sorrow through telepathy. What? Are you sure? Hearing this, Night Sorrow was immediately puzzled. This was not a small matter. It could not be underestimated. After all, the last time he saw the coffin, the one that came out was from the heaven-deceiving tribe. Who knew what would come out from the coffin in front of them? We can't be 100% sure. However, what we said has a high probability of becoming reality. The male hammer said confidently. He and the female hammer could see some changes in the runes around the coffin. I don't know if this is a blessing or a curse. After the male hammer finished speaking, Night Sorrow immediately started to worry. If there was a cultivator like the heaven-deceiving tribe inside, it would not be easy to deal with. Night Sorrow. Jie-Lin has escaped. Just as Night Sorrow and the restriction-breaking hammer were communicating, Su Lei suddenly transmitted his voice. Escaped? Then let her escape. Let's continue searching for the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. Since Jie-Lin wants the eye technique so badly, it must be that the eye technique will play a big role in this. Night Sorrow had no intention of chasing after Jie-Lin. After saying a few words to the two girls, he looked into the distance. After Jie-Lin disappeared, the ocean in front of them also disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by scattered swamps. Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to observe for a while and discovered that there were many sky supremes in the swamp. Thus he asked, Xiaowu, do you still have any use for the heavenly sovereign ferocious beasts that you've collected? Hearing this question, Little Five smiled and said, now that we have the horn to absorb, we don't need to absorb the energy of these ferocious beasts. Good. Let's cross the swamp in front of us and continue to look for opportunities. According to the records, this should only be the entrance to the ancient site. There is still a lot of space inside. Night Sorrow said and led everyone into the swamp. As soon as he entered, he was attacked by an intermediate heavenly sovereign dragon crocodile. After dealing with it, he proudly continued forward. Seeing that the dragon crocodile was killed, many of the ferocious beasts in the swamp calmed down a little. Although their killing intent continued to spread, not many of them dared to approach. I wonder where Chow Mang got the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. Dancing Lady, who had just recovered, said after Night Sorrow crossed the swamp and walked into a rocky mountain in front of them. She used her eye technique to look around, but she didn't see the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill at all. Night Sorrow thought for a while and said, according to the information given by Elder Su, the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill should be scattered around the ancient site. We can't find it now, so it should be that someone else has already found it. If we continue to go deeper, we should be able to find something with our eye technique. I hope so. Dancing Lady agreed when she thought of Jie-Lin, who was preparing to snatch the eye technique. There are half-ultimate realm ferocious beasts in the rocky mountain below. At this moment Night Sorrow, who was flying in the air, suddenly transmitted his voice to the two ladies. Originally, he was flying quite leisurely, thinking that even if he encountered an upper heavenly sovereign, he wouldn't be much of a threat. Now, however, he was trembling with fear. In the rocky mountain directly below them, there was a dragon lizard half a step into the limitless realm. The dragon lizard was absorbing the essence of the sun and moon, obviously cultivating. Let's go around it. It's best not to disturb it. Dancing Lady said immediately when she saw that the dragon lizard was indeed half-ultimate realm with her eye technique. Of course, there's no need to get into a conflict with it, Yishang said. Then, he led Dancing Woman and Su Lei away from Dragon Lizard, who was half a step away from the Supreme Realm. However, they didn't go far before they encountered another half-ultimate realm ferocious beast in a vast mountain. This time, they encountered a tall white ape. When Night Sorrow and the rest saw the white ape from afar, it was hunting for prey. Under its attack, the upper heavenly sovereign ferocious beasts couldn't fight back at all. It killed them with just one punch. What powerful strength! This time, we still have to go around it. Dancing Lady said immediately when she saw that the half-ultimate realm white ape was so fierce. It's not difficult to go around it, but looking at the situation, there are many half-ultimate realm ferocious beasts in this ancient site. With Jie-Lin and the rest, the danger of this trip is far beyond our imagination. Although Night Sorrow said that it was dangerous, he was actually excited. He knew that the more dangerous a place was, the more opportunities there would be. As long as he could advance to Heavenly Sovereign here, some of the dangers in front of him could be easily resolved. Oh no! I realized that the white ape's gaze is not right. Right at this moment, Swaying Woman suddenly reminded Night Sorrow. Is that so? When Night Sorrow heard this, he turned to look at the white ape and saw that it was indeed looking in his direction. He suddenly felt as if he was being stared at by an ancient ferocious beast. He transmitted his voice to Dancing Lady. Enter my space hollow. This time we might have to run for our lives. The Eternal Divine Tower had yet to prepare its next attack, and the ancient coffin's defensive layer had begun to weaken. Night Sorrow didn't want to fight with a half-ultimate realm ferocious beast. When he realized that the white ape was staring at them, he immediately increased his speed and continued to fly deeper into the ancient site. Oh well! Just as Night Sorrow increased his speed, the white ape was enraged. As if enraged, White Ape immediately leaped and chased after Night Sorrow. Why is this fellow suddenly targeting us? When the White Ape started to chase, Night Sorrow immediately activated the Treastrimsa Battle Mystic technique and the destruction of heaven and earth. He used the 9 defiant steps and quickly fled deeper into the ancient site. Chapter 3252. Facing the White Ape, Night Sorrow did not use the word formula or the divine essence trapping array. He knew that against a beast half a step to the supreme level, these would not have any effect at all. After chasing for a while and failing to catch up with Night Sorrow, the White Ape went completely berserk. Its whole body emitted a thick red mist, and its aura increased greatly in an instant. Its speed also increased. In a moment, the distance between them was shortened. Oh no! After the White Ape accelerated, its speed is not inferior to mine. It will be difficult for us to shake it off. We have to think of a way. Night Sorrow, who noticed that the White Ape's speed had obviously increased after going berserk, frowned and said. At the same time, he kept thinking of countermeasures in his mind. His first thought was to lure the White Ape to the Dragon Lizard, who was also half a step to the supreme level, and let them fight. But after thinking about it, he realized that it was not possible. So he looked ahead. At this moment, in front of Night Sorrow and the others was an extremely primitive and continuous mountain range. There were many beasts hidden in the mountain range. Night Sorrow even saw 2 cultivators, but he did not see any beast half a step to the supreme level. So there was no chance of a third party benefiting from the fight between the sandpiper and the clam. He did not hesitate and continued to move forward. After flying over the mountain range, Night Sorrow and Dancing Lady saw at the same time that there was an open area in front of them. In the open area, there was a huge chessboard. This chessboard was refined by someone with black meteoric iron, and it was obviously a magic artifact. It was blocking the only way. When they flew over the chessboard, Night Sorrow immediately felt a huge pulling force, and he was instantly pulled into the chessboard. The White Ape, who had been chasing him, was pulled when it got close to the chessboard. It exploded and struggled to break free. It did not even look back and fled into the distance. I did not expect to get rid of the White Ape so easily. But how do we get past this chessboard? Night Sorrow, who was pulled into the chessboard, quickly realized that they had entered a chaotic world. On the chessboard, the chess piece closest to them instantly turned into a huge white ape and attacked. This White Ape's strength is only at the level of a middle heavenly sovereign. It can't be the same one. After scanning it with the sea serpent's eye, Night Sorrow discovered that although the White Ape in front of him looked the same as the one from before, it was much weaker. With these words, he began to use the 33 Heavens arcane combat art, revolving it to destroy the heavens and extinguish the earth. However, as soon as Armageddon was activated, Night Sorrow suffered a backlash and spat out a mouthful of blood. Not good. I shouldn't be able to use Armageddon continuously. I've been using it too frequently. Night Sorrow, who was vomiting blood, immediately understood what had happened. At this time, seeing Night Sorrow vomit blood, the whirling woman in the space said, "Let me out, let me fight against the White Ape in front of me. I've almost recovered too. Let me go out and fight too." Su Lei, who had rested for a long time, also said. "Then I'll have to rely on you guys for the time being." Night Sorrow's current state was indeed not suitable for battle. He immediately summoned the 2 girls. He let them fight against the White Ape that the chess piece had transformed into. Night Sorrow, enter the Eternal Divine Tower to recover. After Night Sorrow summoned the whirling woman and Su Lei, Little Seven immediately transmitted a message to Night Sorrow. Good. I didn't expect the backlash of Armageddon to be so serious. After Night Sorrow said that, he entered the eternal 10 times space to absorb energy and recover. He didn't even have the energy to watch the battle between the whirling woman and Su Lei. After Night Sorrow consumed the elixir and absorbed the energy of the eternal divine tower to recover, Little Seven said, "In my opinion, that Mier is not a good person. It's better not to use his ultimate skill in the future. I don't know if it's because this Mier's ultimate skill is incomplete or if I've used it too frequently. This side effect is too harmful to the body. It seems that I can't use it casually in the future unless it's time to fight for my life." Feeling the damage in his body, Night Sorrow replied laboriously. He could feel that after he used Armageddon consecutively, the blood in his body seemed to be boiling and would burn other parts of his body, causing him to feel a stinging pain. Moreover, his body couldn't gather any power. You might as well give up completely. When we help you advance to Heavenly Supreme, you won't need so many tricks to face the experts of the foggy area or the heaven-deceiving alien tribe. With your strength you should be able to stand firm. Little Seven comforted him. I don't know if I'll form any karma in the future after cultivating Mie's ultimate skill. Night Sorrow, who was in the midst of recovery, continued to analyze. The three Supremes in the foggy area had always been his imaginary enemies, and he would definitely face them in the future. He was about to advance to Heavenly Supreme, and he couldn't help but worry about the future. Don't worry, with your luck. Can't you suppress such a small matter? Little Seven continued to comfort him. Yes. No matter if Mie deliberately left this ultimate skill for me or if it's like this, when we meet in the future, I will defeat him. Night Sorrow, who suspected that Mie deliberately left this ultimate skill behind, said with certainty. After straightening out his thoughts, he began to recover normally. After about 20 hours, his body had completely recovered in the Eternal Divine Tower. At this time, Dancing Lady and Su Lei had just joined forces and killed the white ape that the chess piece had transformed into. After fighting for 2 hours, the two women had consumed a lot of energy, and it was obvious that they were tired. Thank you for your hard work. Night Sorrow, who walked out of the Eternal Divine Tower, saw that the two women had consumed a lot of energy and immediately said, "Be careful. Fighting here consumes 10 times more energy than usual. If not, we wouldn't be in such a sorry state." At this time, Su Lei, who was panting unevenly, explained. Hearing this, Night Sorrow nodded and said, "I know. This chessboard is definitely not simple. Quickly enter the Eternal Divine Tower to recover, and leave the rest to me." "That's the only way." Su Lei responded and flew into the Eternal Divine Tower. Dancing Lady glanced at Night Sorrow and said, "This expectation is very unusual, you have to be careful." "Yes, I will." Night Sorrow replied, and then shrank the Eternal Divine Tower and carried it at his waist. He continued to move forward. Before he could walk 100 miles, he encountered another chess piece. This chess piece was even more special. It actually transformed into the appearance of Sikong Chuyu in front of Night Sorrow. Chuyu! Although Night Sorrow's mind was calm and he was not controlled by the chessboard, he had not seen Sikong Chuyu's appearance for many years, and after seeing it, he felt a little emotional. Night Sorrow, be careful. Just when Night Sorrow was slightly absent-minded, Little Seven suddenly reminded him. Because the chess piece that had transformed into the appearance of Sikong Chuyu had already launched an attack on Night Sorrow. And this attack was very fierce, going straight for Night Sorrow's dantian. If he was hit, he would definitely be crippled. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.